Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and I've got a very special guest today for this episode of Lights, Camera, Rant, where we're going to be diving into the latest pop culture news and the brand new Joker movie could be an absolute win, or it's going to be an absolute fail, which we're going to dive in straight away. And I have a very special guest. I've got Eric Thorpe from Reviews. How you going, man?
It's going good. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. I have a lot of thoughts, and it was my most anticipated movie of the year. So,
really above Deadpool and Wolverine?
It was close, but I mean, like, I'm a Batman guy, so Joker 1 was my favorite movie of 2019, and I don't know. It was they were so different. Honestly, it was close, but yeah, ultimately, I don't know. It just feels more true to myself to say, like, yeah, Joker was a little bit more. I was just, I feel like weirdly enough, there was like maybe less room for me to be disappointed with Joker, because Deadpool and Wolverine, I wanted very specific things with like cameos and things like that. Whereas Joker, I'm like, well, I know what I'm getting. We'll talk about that, but I thought I knew what I was getting. I thought, like, okay, Joker, Harley Quinn movie. I'm down. I'm down for that.
No, that's fair. Well, Mr. Mark my words on YouTube. Thank you for coming past, man. Has said most anticipated. Oof. I don't think he was. I don't think that he was a bit surprised about that one.
Yeah. I mean.
No, well, look, it was on my list. I'd say it was probably at fourth. I'd say about third or fourth on my list for this year. Number one being Deadpool and Wolverine, especially with Joker 2. Like I was really excited for this film, especially because the first one was just so good and made on a $70 million budget, made $1 billion of just how good it was. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into the movie, we're going to obviously look at the biggest pop culture news that's happened the past week, which, in saying that, for all Jurassic Park fans, I'm happy to say that the brand new Jurassic Park film has officially wrapped up filming. That's all done and dusted. The director has posted on his Instagram saying Jurassic World Rebirth is officially finished filming, and that will be coming out in July 2025. And again, as I've said week after week, 2025 is being an absolutely stacked year for what we're going to be getting between Jurassic Park Rebirth, Superman, Fantastic Four, 3 more Marvel movies. Like, it's just getting absolutely packed. Are you looking forward to Jurassic Park getting rebooted for the second time, technically, Eric, with Scarlett Johansson this time around?
I mean, I think it'll be fun to watch in a theater, but it's not like one of my most anticipated of the year or anything. Like, I don't know. The first Jurassic Park's a good movie. The rest are, I don't know, some of them are okay, but like, it's not like a great franchise. I don't think it's got like one great movie.
What? Wait, whoa. Are we talking about the original trilogy, or are we talking about Jurassic World trilogy?
Like all of them.
Jurassic Park 1 is fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. It has one great movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had no great movies. So I was like,
yeah. No. I'm saying I'm saying that's a great movie, but it's not really a great franchise because it's really just the one movie that's actually a great movie, in my opinion.
No.
Some of the other ones I like, actually, I don't know. Honestly, probably the second one. I know it's probably an unpopular opinion. I think the most decent one other than the first one is probably the second one. Not that it's anywhere near as good as the first, but like at least Spielberg still.
Well, that's right. Which we do also have the Galactic Core podcast coming past on on the YouTube, which thank you very much, man, for coming past. And also, I'd like to shout out this man because he also bought some merch. He bought a jumper and a hat, so thank you, sir. This man is speaking blasphemy against Jurassic Park franchise.
I mean, did he understand? I said the original's great.
I think he did. I think he's talking about the rest. No,
okay, that's fair. I have some franchises I defend more than most people too, so I get it.
I'd say for me, it'd be Jurassic Park 1 is near perfect. Jurassic Park 2 is really good. Jurassic Park 3 is a little bit lesser.
Jurassic Park 3 is like probably the worst one, yeah.
Actually, no, I thought
Dominion.
Dominion. I thought that was shit.
Yeah,
actually, no, not Dominion. Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, really? I thought you liked that Dominion more than Fallen Kingdom.
I liked Dominion because of the nostalgia, seeing the original 3 back together. I'd say that was one, but
yeah, honestly, both of them were like kind of like I had a fun time watching both of them in the theater. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not like passionate enough to really get upset one way or the other with them, but I had fun watching them in the theater.
Oh, they're a good time. I just thought, like, watching when you watch Jurassic World, the first one, I thought, okay, well, that's really good. You know, that was a good premise. You know, you get to see what happens if the park was really open. And then Fallen Kingdom, I was like, okay, so this is just This is just back to retold again. And then Dominion, I liked because it had the original cast come back.
Yeah, I don't know, like rating wise, since you just added me on Letterboxd, I think you'll see. I think I rated them all the same. The Jurassic World. I'm like, I think across the board, I'm like, first one was like, I guess less problems than the two after, but also like, I felt like some of the other two like took more interesting swings.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I'd still say the third one's probably the least above all else.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So it's kind of for me. It's like, yeah, obviously the original is like up here, and then Lost World is a good bit down probably, but it's decent. Then there's like, I don't know. I think just the whole Jurassic World trilogy is just kind of here, and then for me, I'd put Jurassic Park 3 probably at the bottom.
No, I can understand that.
And not that it's not like. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can understand if, like, in some ways it's okay, but it's just more than the other ones. It feels like a direct-to-video movie almost.
Whoa. That'll probably be in his Letterboxd, people. That'll probably be in his review. Cam, who's come past on YouTube, I found the legacy scenes going through the abandoned park in the newer movies was really good trip down memory lane. The original also made those Jeep malls very popular, especially the YJ mall. Oh, well, yeah. Same with what happened with the DeLorean and Back to the Future. Like, sales of that car went straight up. And we've also got Upside Down Dan, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park Dominion is his last.
Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't like Dominion. I know that. He was very, very upset after that movie.
A bit critical.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched it and I was just like, well, I don't know. I guess I had fun. I liked just how bizarre it was, that it was like, it was turning into like an espionage thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of hilarious to me. And yeah, I don't know. I just had fun. I think I saw the second and third one both in like full recliner VIP. So I was very relaxed and like while I was watching them.
Just enjoying the good time.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's all I want, and I don't know. I hope. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of this new one yet. It's like they're jumping right in. It feels like early to already be going back to it, but I guess it's because even though the last two didn't get a great reception, they still made $1 billion each.
Oh, they will. Just because Jurassic Park franchise, it will always make that money. When they did announce this Jurassic World Rebirth, I was like, that's really soon. That seems really soon to end this trilogy and then have this kick off. like this going like, and they've said it's going to be a new trilogy. Like it's not like this is number 4. Like no, this is a new trilogy, and I'm like, and on top of that, and the scary thing, knowing the fact this is Jurassic Park 7. Just to say that, yes, Jurassic Park 7, which is 5 years post Jurassic World Dominion, an expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Now, what does actually, in saying that, what also does make me very interested about seeing this movie is that this is being directed by the same guy who directed Rogue One.
Gareth Edwards, right? And he did The Creator last year.
Yeah.
But I guess, like some people say that like Tony Gilroy kind of like ghost directed Rogue One, don't they?
Oh, that too,
like,
yeah.
Or they kind of reworked it a bit. But I don't know. It'll definitely be like kind of wait. He's directing which one? He's directing this.
He's directing the new one.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I knew that, or if I did, it like kind of just went in one year out the other. Okay. I mean, honestly, not. I think he would actually be good for this. His movies are, I don't know. I think they're always like a good watch, like in terms of like just a spectacle and stuff. Like The Creator, I like The Creator. And yeah, Rogue One. Hard to say with that one because, like I said, I don't know how much of that was Tony Gilroy, at least writing wise, more. But, yeah, no, I mean, there's no denying the guy can like really do spectacle, I think.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Look, I hope it will be good, but at the same time, it is probably my 10th or 12th most anticipated movie next year, really.
Yeah, I don't think I've really put together a list yet, but yeah, I don't know. It could. Dan will probably be mad at me. I don't even know for sure. It might be in my top 10, but it also might not be.
Well, in saying that, next year to talk about, we got Avatar 3 coming out next year. We got Cat 4. We've got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2, which was meant to come out this year. We've got Ballerina, Mickey. Oh my god, they're making Aladdin 2. Wow, that's bullshit.
I guess that one made money, right? Did that make like $1 billion too?
Yeah, it did. It just looks weird.
Well, it was 2019, man. Like everything made $1 billion. I mean, that's when the first Joker came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also, now, Venom 3 right around the corner, and just the other week, they've released a brand new trailer for Venom 3, in which we can see the comic book character Canal in the background, which he's the king of all the symbiotes, and now it's reported that we're going to be having Andy Serkis play as that character, which Andy Serkis also directed Venom 2.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I'm like, all right, and that's another swing at a Marvel character. I'm curious. Like, I'm glad it's Andy Serkis playing this character, but I feel being in a Sony universe, it's going to be completely wasted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean that's the case with like everything with this, all these Venom or Madam Web, all that stuff. I mean, Venom's obviously been more successful than the other ones, but
that's because of Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it gonna probably just go to waste? Then yeah, probably. But I mean, in terms of Andy Serkis, in terms of Andy Serkis, I mean, he's definitely a far superior actor than he is director. So I guess I don't know. I guess to me, him being in this movie rather than directing it, that sounds like better to me.
Yeah,
especially as a CGI character. That's like, he's the guy for that.
He's Imura Nura. He's the best person to do it.
Yeah, I mean, not that he's good in Black Panther and stuff too. As like he's a good actor in general.
Khaleesi's Claw.
Oh yeah, is it Ulysses Claw or something?
Ulysses Claw, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that I don't know. I'm not really. I think Venom. It's sort of another one of those. I think it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the second Venom, and if Dan's still there, he like loves Venom too. So,
Oh, really? I thought
yeah,
Venom 2. I thought Venom 2 was shit.
I think it's fun, but yeah, I do think it's like. I mean, people have been calling Joker 2 a mess. Like, I don't know, Venom 2.
Oh, who would be talking? Who'd be saying Joker 2 is a mess? I have no idea. Let's find out in 20 minutes.
I think everyone. But no, but like
Uh,
I don't know, Venom 2, that I thought was more of a mess. That's all I'll say.
Venom 2, like,
It was
just
fun. I
it
think
was
Tom Hardy's good, but yeah.
to like the CGI. I liked CGI. Venom looked good. It just seemed awfully short for the film
Yeah, it was
to
like a
me.
Saturday morning cartoon pacing.
Yes, that's right. And I remember it's been a little while, so if someone does lash out, I understand. I just remember the ending. It just felt like I feel like there should have been extra scenes. It seemed to like cut quickly to different parts. And I was like, is there meant to be extra stuff in there? They just wanted to trim down the fat. Like,
And that happens with a lot of comic book movies, I feel like the past couple of years.
well, especially Madam Web. Mr. Mark my words, the final 30 minutes was badly edited.
Are we talking about Venom?
And Madam Web. Both
Oh.
terribly edited. Yeah.
Yeah,
Terribly.
like I remember I don't know, I do think like the yeah, I understand.
I have paragraphs of flaws in my letterbox review. I'll have to read that.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're not following Dan yet, you definitely follow him on Letterboxd for he's. I don't know. I think me and him both have hot takes, but often in the opposite directions. Yeah, like I thought the first Venom was actually kind of okay. It wasn't great still, but like I thought Venom 2 in most ways was worse.
It was worse.
Other than like they embraced how dumb it was even more, but I don't know. Is that really a positive? I'm not sure. Yes.
Like it's I don't know. Like I'm hoping Venom 3 will wrap up this trilogy. I just think it's just going into it. I'm like, if they do have Canal in it, I just feel like you've got this major villain about the symbiotes, and it's gonna be here he is. This is what he's gonna do, and you're never gonna see him again, ever.
I mean, it is the multiverse saga. You never know. If Venom makes a lot of money, I wouldn't be shocked if they incorporated a bit.
Do you think it's
Tom
gonna
Hardy
make a lot of
did
money?
pop up briefly in No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Although it was almost like a tease to say like, okay, so he's not really going to be in the movie.
No, it was an absolute tease. I'm like,
Yeah.
literally, like what? Not even 5 minutes.
But it was just after credits thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I am curious if like I still don't think it's like out of the question. Probably not, but like it still seems a bit up in the air if they might like kind of bring in Tom Hardy's as the MCU Venom. But I mean, with the way they're going about the multiverse, like they could. And I mean, again, I know they'll just kind of ignore the rest of those movies, but the Venom ones have those ones have an audience. There's no denying that.
They definitely do.
And I mean, I guess mildly in that audience in the sense, but I watch like every comic book movie, so I don't know. But
yeah,
a lot of people do though. But those ones, I don't know. Those ones seem to attract people who don't even necessarily see everything.
No, and Venom 1 did I think made a lot of money at the box office as well, and I liked Venom 1. And I know there's a rumor, which I feel like there's a rumor for every person who's ever played a comic book character ever in a film or TV show for it to pop up in Secret Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the MCU is just gonna not that I want to get into Deadpool and Wolverine here too much, but I mean, you probably know, I like the movie. It's fun, but I don't know. They just kind of keep disappointing me with the multiverse stuff. it was. I guess it was a. I guess we can talk spoilers about Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, I guess we're gonna be talking.
No,
Joker
too
spoilers.
soon. Too soon.
I'm like, oh wait, what am I saying? We're gonna be talking Joker spoilers that just came out. So
Yeah, yes, we are. Joker spoilers all incoming.
yeah, no, I mean, I just felt like just to give my quick 2 cents on that. I liked it more when I rewatched it because I just saw it for what it was. But like, I kind of knew I was gonna be disappointed to some degree because I'm like, I just feel like I just kind of knew they're not gonna like do many X-Men cameos or something, and I feel like that was like unless they were saving it for Secret Wars, but I kind of doubt it. Like I feel like it was the whole movie was supposed to be like this tribute to the Fox universe, and the biggest cameo is Blade, and the Blade movies aren't even Fox.
No, it's just new. It's new line cinema.
I know, and I'm like I'm not. I got nothing against Blade being in it, but like I don't know. It's to me. It's like not having like some of the more of those original X-Men is like cameos. It's like sort of. It's like if Spider-Man No Way Home had all the villains, but then not the two like other Spider-Men.
That wouldn't feel right. That wouldn't have felt right at all.
And that's kind of how. And even though I like the movie, that's kind of at least I don't think other people maybe those X-Men movies just like aren't quite as beloved as those other Spider-Man movies. I'm not sure, but like. That's sort of how it felt to me. The like, or maybe it's just like because it had Hugh Jackman, so people were happy. But well, we knew it was gonna have Hugh Jackman, so.
Well, that's right. But like, I wasn't too disappointed. There wasn't too many X-Men. I must admit, when I watched it, I wish probably James Marsden was in it in his iconic blue and yellow. Cyclops suit. I think that would have been such a cool opportunity. But I do like that we did get Elektra, we did get Blade, we did get Gambit, we got other people that haven't had love in the multiverse.
I was like the one person in the theater, I think the opening night. I liked it more almost on rewatch where I was like, I don't know, I guess none of those ones really surprised me. I actually like suspected all of those. I mean, Elektra I think was confirmed before.
Elektra was confirmed.
The Gambit one, I had a feeling. I'm like, they're gonna do that, and it was funny, but like to me at least, it's like, I don't know. It's just like not even. It doesn't have like any like kind of resonance the way it would be like bringing back a character. I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna do the multiverse and you don't bring in like most of the Fox X-Men, it's like. Not in terms of money, but in terms of like the amount of movies they had, that's like the biggest kind of franchise Marvel has outside of the MCU,
Yeah, that's right.
It's like not to put them in the multiverse saga. It's like, I mean, maybe Spider-Man aside, it's like, cool. What was the point of the multiverse saga? That's almost how it feels to me.
The multiverse saga is not looking too good at the moment, but I'm hoping the fact with the Russo brothers. It's going to be a little like I'm really excited for Doomsday now. A lot more excited than I was for Kang Dynasty.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. This is probably all stuff you talked about on previous episodes.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. The Robert Downey Jr. of it all. I don't know.
He's going to be good.
He's going to be good, but it's just like, is it, like, I feel like it could possibly, like, mess with the legacy of Iron Man and possibly like undercut the introduction of Doctor Doom. Like I feel like there's maybe more cons than pros, at least at face value for me.
I don't think there will be. I don't like. Well, the thing is, I was just talking to a friend about this last night. I was like, as long as he comes into this character being absolutely different compared to Iron Man, it will work. And I think there is a great story to tell. The fact that the person who saved the MCU is now going to be the one to destroy it. Not to mention seeing Spider-Man see Doctor Doom looking like.
That's the part I really don't like though, because it's like I get what you're saying about the like kind of reversing it all, but like I think it's only like would make sense if he's like playing like one of those. I mean, not that I haven't read the comics of this to be fair, but like if he's playing like not Victor Von Doom, but like a variant of Tony Stark that's Doctor Doom, that would make more sense. But if he's just like, it's just weird if it's just like, oh, there's Victor Von Doom, oh, and he looks like Tony Stark. Like that.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know how they. That's just odd.
Well, in saying that, I did think it was like whether or not we're actually going to see him look like look like Iron Man at all is another thing.
What do you mean?
Like, is he going to look like Iron Man? Like, what's his costume going to look like? Is he going to look like Iron Man at all? Will we have a Darth Vader type of situation where he knocks the mask off and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt they hire Robert Downey Jr. and pay him all this money to hide his face, though.
Oh, he's getting paid a shit ton to do this. He's getting paid
exactly.
so
That's what I'm
much
saying.
money.
So, like, I feel like they're gonna show his face.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of showing their face, James Gunn technically showed his face on Instagram, announcing a brand new DC Studios and Warner Brothers animation collaboration with Swaybox Animation called Dynamic Duo, which is going to be about two Robins, both Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, which is going to be a mix between animation, CGI, and a bit of live and puppets. That's right, puppets.
Oh wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I basically heard this project was announced. I think I heard it was animation. I didn't hear anything beyond that.
No, animation, CGI, and puppets, which is from James Gunn's Instagram post.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe with more context that'll make more sense. But
Yeah.
right now, I don't know. I don't really know what to say on that.
No, that's all right. So there's no release date, but they've said it's in the works. But this movie was not in. It's not in the original plan that he said of what his phases are of his DCU. So this will probably be outside. I could predict very much probably similar, maybe like the Matt Reeves universe. This could be outside.
Huh. Well, okay. I know even less what to make of it now.
Because I could be wrong, so am I correct? But I don't think they've confirmed which Robin is going to be in that Batman and Robin movie.
I think they did, or at least one of them. Like the main one is going to be, what's his name? Damian Wayne, like Bruce Wayne's son.
Oh, no, that's right. It's Damian Wayne. That's right. No, it's Damian. It's not...
like the worst Robin. But
yeah.
I mean, it could be an interesting character dynamic. I just mean in terms of like, yeah, I don't know. He kind of sucks a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's my favorite character of all time. His son, from all the comics and even the games I played, I'm like, yeah, he's...
It's Dick Grayson.
No. What? Huh?
Who's your favorite?
Oh, no. I'm saying, what? No, I just said, like, Bruce Wayne is my favorite character of all time. But
yes. Sorry, I thought you meant like, who's your favorite Robin?
Oh, yeah, I guess Dick Grayson. Sure.
Yeah. No, well, it's going to be Damian Wayne. So this could be reason, maybe this... he hasn't said if it's part of the universe or anything. He's just said the fact it's been announced and this is what they're making.
But
so
didn't he? I don't know. But he's like, there are going to be I feel like it probably is going to be a part of the universe because he's like doing all like animated things and video games.
Yes, like Creature
in, right?
Yes, like Creature Commandos, which is coming out in December this year. And the first confirm of when they're meant to appear is Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr. will appear in James Gunn's Peacemaker Season 2.
Yeah, I'm so curious about how Peacemaker Season 2 is DCU, but Season 1 is DCEU. I mean, I guess they'll just play it off in like probably a bit of a fourth wall breaking way and joke about it.
They have to. It makes no effing sense. The fact that, like, not to mention, like, so this is technically a sequel. It's also not a sequel. Some characters will continue. Some characters won't continue. It's just, yeah, I'm really curious to how that whole season is going to go about.
Yeah,
to make sense for the casual fan too.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like, as much as they say it's like, oh, it's a reboot, but like it seems like they are carrying a little bit of baggage over from the DCU, which probably isn't a good idea, but I don't personally hate because I like the DCU. So I kind of like if it's still got a few hooks in there. Most people probably don't though.
Well, no. Well, what is the? Oh shit! What came out? Blue Beetle. So Blue Beetle is in the new DC Studios, but is not the first DC Studios film.
Yeah. I mean, technically isn't. I mean, it's not a film, but like, because it's not just the DCU is going to be DC Studios. So like you're saying, so I think Penguin is like the first DC Studios project to be released.
Well,
That's
yes,
like
but that's not in the phases. That's
oh no.
it's
I know,
outside.
but it just I'm just saying though, it's like it's a weird thing that's
Yeah, it's a whole weird thing that this whole transition of going to the new universe is just weird.
yeah, it's I mean it fascinates me. I like it doesn't I don't know if doesn't nothing about how they're doing it really seems like great business wise, but to me I don't know, the messiness I find fascinating.
Very messy. Very messy. But yeah, sorry, Dynamic Duo, no release date. So if they've just announced it, I'm predicting 2026, 7.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts on it yet, but I mean, it sounds fine concept wise.
Yeah, concept wise. How many times have we said that and then we've seen it going, oh, well, that was just, that was rough. Also, they'll also be making if you want to remember this from the childhood, Rugrats live action / CGI movie is apparently in the works at Paramount with currently no release date at this stage, but it is in the works. So can't really imagine how this is going to look like, but yeah, that's on the horizon.
So the babies are CGI then? That's a weird way to go.
Are we getting something like from what was that old movie? Like Look Who's Talking? Are we going to get something like that?
Like the talking baby thing.
The talking babies? Like yeah.
It almost sounds like it's like with the CGI but live action. So it's almost like one of those like animal talking movies where the animals are Sonic or something like that, but like they're still humans, so that's gonna be weird.
Yeah,
if that's what it, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
No, no, I think it's gonna look weird.
I remember I saw like the first Rugrats movie in the theaters when I was really young, and my mom was like upset because I went with my school. They like took us in like nursery school. And
oh my god!
My mom like didn't approve of me watching Rugrats. She thought they were a bad influence.
Rugrats.
Yeah, because they're always like screaming and getting upset,
or trying to escape, or trying to build something.
Yeah, but
you ever hear about the dark theory about Rugrats?
I don't think so.
So there's if you look online, I've read this ages ago. There's this whole massive theory, the fact that that all the babies are not real and it's all in Angelica's head.
Okay.
That she's because she's parents are hardworking, that she's neglected, and that she creates all these babies in their head. And it's a whole listing of like the twins, Tommy, Chucky, like it's a massive thing. I'm like, well, this is just a horrible read. This is just getting darker and darker.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have all sorts of theories on things, but I'm into not Rugrats, but I don't know. To me, just that from just hearing that, I don't know. It just kind of sounds like one of those theories. It's like, I mean, sure, okay. Because I don't know how much there is to like really back it up in the cartoon, from what I know.
No, it's not. But yeah, there's that. What's your wildest theory off the top of your head? I've got them now.
I have so many, I think, or some of them, I don't know. Like, there's some that aren't even like theories per se, but like more like headcanons.
Oh, okay.
You know, does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
Because I don't know, and actually, I won't say this one now, but I have at least one or two for Joker that we're going to talk about.
All right. Well, hold on to that. Hold on to those.
But I do have a different Batman one.
Oh yeah, go.
And it's like, again, I have like, it's not that I like want that to be the real canon, but it's like fun to think of in some ways.
Yeah, what's the
in Batman some ways one? I think one that I made a video on this. I don't think it's a great video, but I still find it an interesting idea. Is like like I feel like in some ways the DCEU is actually a bit better if you like pretend that like, and I think you can, aside from actors and stuff being different, if you pretend like the Dark Knight trilogy is canon and like that happened before Man of Steel and stuff. And then like, then it's like you're just missing a Batman movie in between, basically showing like, and not that I like it to be canon because I like the ending of The Dark Knight Rises, it's like my favorite ending to a movie ever. But just as like a possible kind of way to look at it, like maybe like because it's an older kind of Batman who's kind of like worn down and not happy with things, and Robin's dead in Batman v Superman, and I don't think they never actually even say. They never even like actually confirm. I think it's that we're assuming it's Dick Grayson. Zack Snyder might have said that's the case, right? But or even Jason Todd, but they never actually say the name of the Robin like ever in the DCU.
No, I don't think so.
So as far as like in terms of, I don't know. To me, it's like, well, there could be like a whole story about like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt like was going to be sort of maybe Batman, maybe Robin, something at the end of Dark Knight Rises. Again, I'm not saying this is a good idea, but I'm just saying this is what I like to think about as in my nerdy madness. But maybe like there's a story where he like becomes Robin or something.
Oh, that's a long one.
And then I don't know, and then I guess he dies, which I don't want that to be the ending to that story, but I'm just saying like it would make the Dark Knight trilogy worse, but the DCEU better.
I could see that work. I could see how it works, but it's a headcanon of a bit of a stretch. We've also got Willie the Warden. While this doesn't have anything to do with the film itself, I feel special because it seems like I'm generally the only one online who liked the Joker 2. We'll have a review. You had the only one who liked the Joker 2. We'll have a review on my channel on the 10th. I think, Willie, thanks for going past. I think you have to wait because you might be not the only one. But hey, you gotta wait. Well, we're getting into it. But I do understand Eric about, I could see how it could blend together.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I didn't mean to like
stretch. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I asked the question.
I'm just saying there's nothing in the DCU aside from like actors being different. But if you look at like the characters and things, like who's alive, who's not, like there's nobody that like was killed off in the Dark Knight trilogy, at least as of yet. Probably if it kept going, there would have been at some point. Like nobody in that trilogy that like was killed off or anything, like Bane or anyone like showed up in the DCU.
No, they did. You're right. No,
Joker was the only villain really we saw, and the Joker was literally left hanging at the end of the Dark Knight. Like I don't know. I'm just saying like it feels like there's a gap in between if you wanted to make a movie or two to like connect it, and I feel like there's not actually that many contradictions in terms of like story threads.
No, no, you could 100% put the two together. Bit patchy, but you could do that. It could be a little bit of a mystery, putting it all together. But speaking of mysteries, Nicolas Cage's brand new Spider-Man Noir live action TV show at Sony has officially kicked off, which has been leaked set photos. That if someone asks why I'm not showing it, it's only because of the fact that it really just shows him in a cloak. Like in a jacket. It shows nothing at all.
Oh, they actually released a photo though?
No, it's just a leaked set photo, but he's just wearing a trench coat, walking around. I'm like, all right, it's pretty much how we thought he was going to look like. It's not really, but he's not wearing the mask or anything like that. It's just really just Nick Cage in a trench coat, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have too many thoughts on this yet, but I mean, it's weird that it's live action. That's what I was saying.
How do you feel it's live action and it's a TV show?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like it's just because I don't have enough knowledge about Spider-Man Noir to say, but like, yeah, it doesn't seem like an obvious direction to go for a spin-off from Spider-Verse.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, out of all those multiple universe Spider-Mans, of course you want Nick Cage.
No. That's not like a bad one to pick, but I just mean like, yeah, like you said, that their way they're going about it, rather than doing like, I don't know, another animated movie or something. I don't know, but maybe that would be dilute the Spider-Verse movies, I suppose. But like, I don't know, or maybe like an animated show.
Yeah, it's no animated show. It's just
Because is it like, is he playing? I guess because it's still kind of unclear to me. I guess with the whole multiverse thing, it's like they sort of made it seem like, at least in Spider-Verse, in the second one, and Across the Spider-Verse, like when we saw the different Spider-Mans across the universe, like glimpses, we saw Toby, right?
yes.
And he was just like live action. So I'm like, okay, does it not matter what universe they cross into? They still retain like whether they're like live action or animated. And then it's like, if he's live act, I'm probably thinking about this too hard. But this is what the multiverse does, right? It makes you think about these things if you're a nerd. So then it's like, so if this is this Nick Cage, is he playing a different version, slightly different universe version than the one in the movies, or is he just playing that same version and they're just interpreting it in live action? Or would do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like how much does he know going forward?
Like I guess like if Miles Morales, and this probably, I feel like this, there's a good chance something like this will happen, like some little nod or something in like Secret Wars or something, that since Spider-Verse is so popular. But like if Miles Morales, like the same one we've been following in those movies, were to show up in like the MCU or something, would he be live action then, or would he be like animated still?
He'd be live action, but I guess the new question would be: would he know about the multiverse?
Yeah, but like, why is Toby like live action then? When they're, I guess, because it's glimpsing into his universe.
They're just glimpsing into it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know.
Same with Andrew Garfield, which it's funny you actually do bring up like the Into the Spider-Verse. I feel like I don't know. I feel like this for me personally, like I've got like a less hype now for Into the Spider-Verse, and not Into the Spider, Beyond the Spider-Verse, because we've got no release date that was meant to come out this year, and I'm a bit like,
I mean, but like, I don't know. Not that I'm like, I mean, I think those are fantastic movies. Not that like I'm as like deeply invested in them as some people, but like, I do kind of wonder, is that just because they announced that at one point that it was going to be now that people are like upset? Because if it's coming out now when they're saying, won't it be about the same amount of time between that it was between part 1 and 2?
well, I'm pretty sure they said these were getting shot back to back.
Yeah, but well, didn't it come out though? I think it came out though like that wasn't like they hadn't even started animating it.
No,
came out.
It
So
was,
it's like, well, if they haven't started it, then it's gonna take just as long as it did to get the second one.
Yeah, and not to mention, like I am like a little bit less disappointed in it, but at the same time, I do understand why, because Spider-Man 2 did come out, Spider-Man Into the Universe did come out. They announced the release date, and then we got hit. Then everyone got hit with the writer's strike and the actor strike. So it just went. If they were already behind.
Well, and they already, I don't know. I think it was just like, it sounds like it was some Sony executives or something, just like saying like completely ridiculous, unrealistic things that like set people's expectations.
Sony would never do that. Sony, what are you talking about, mate? They have
like, from what I heard,
real
they
expectations.
Killed their animators making the second one.
They did.
And so like, and then they just were like saying, oh yeah, the next one will be out like in a year, and it's like, I feel like they literally just said that without
please.
and they were just like assumed that the people would like make it happen, and it's like, oh no, that's not actually possible.
Yeah, that's not happening. No way.
Yeah, so I think it was, I don't know. To me, it makes sense that if they hadn't started it already, when that second one came out, it would take about as long, if not longer, because they're probably only going to be more ambitious.
They are. Well, this is going beyond the Spider-Verse, so
I don't even know what that means.
No, but to my also the other Spider-Man that hasn't made a slight appearance in the Spider-Man these movies is Tom Holland.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think there'll be some kind of nod to him. But yeah, probably the MCU, some kind of nod.
Yeah, has to be. But look, Spider-Man Noir, it's currently shooting at the moment. So I would predict we'll probably see this at the end of 2025. This will be coming out.
What do you think the aesthetic will be like for this? Actually, I'm just thinking now. Do you think it'll be like Sin City? That would probably like kind of fit. I'm not saying it'll be like R-rated, but like visually.
Sin City would be cool. I don't think it will go to that dark S, but I'm looking for very much like, like a
That would like to me make it kind of fit more at least with the animated stuff if it's a very stylized look like that.
well, that's what So between that and like a 1920s aesthetic, like he's doing the voiceover in his head. He's like, I'm retired. I don't know what to do. The whole old style cop show where they do the voiceover in their head and down of their luck kind of style, like, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm thinking it should be. But look, if it was Sin City style, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, no, that's just like looking at the image right there now. I'm just like, oh wait, yeah, that's kind of I think how it would translate into live action if they're going to retain that kind of vibe at all.
We don't know right now because the set photos did show him in color.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I was just joking.
Oh, okay. Honestly, that like went over my head for a second.
It's all right.
Process. I'm like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't in black and white.
Okay, gotcha.
That's all right. Also, our last little bit of news that this might be a little bit controversial, depending on your take, is that Sam Raimi is in talks to direct Doctor Strange 3. He directed Doctor Strange 2. He took over the reins from Steve. I forget his name now. He directed the first one. He took over the reins. Do you think that's it, Scott? I was like, it's not Steve, it's Scott. Do you think Sam Raimi should come back for Doctor Strange 2? Sorry.
3? Yeah.
Do you think he should come back for Doctor Strange 3?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to bring him back. Even if, like, I don't know. I mean, like, for me personally, I don't know. I not that it was like not disappointing, but for me at least, I know it's probably one of those more divisive ones. Multiverse of Madness was one of the things in the multiverse saga that was more on the like side of what I've enjoyed personally. Not that it doesn't have issues, but like I thought it was a very, very like entertaining movie. And I love I don't know. I think Wanda really makes that movie.
Oh, she is. It's a Wonder movie.
Well, you can argue with how great her like all the writing is, but in terms of like how much fun she is to watch, I think she's like one of the top, actually probably MCU villains in that movie.
Oh, she is. She's the MVP. I thought Wanda from both Elizabeth Olsen's acting, her performance, even her costume.
Yeah, I just liked how like scary she was.
Yeah, she was creepy as shit. And I know she's not dead. For everyone who says she's not dead.
I think she might come back, but I think she's dead at the moment.
She might come back. Upside Down Dan. No, I didn't like it too much.
Dan hated it, and he loved Venom too. So what more is there to say?
What? How? That's okay.
I think Dan. It's a lot of Dan's opinion is tied to his anticipation, and yeah, I think not always, but like I'm sure he'll agree with me. Like he was, very, very excited for Multiverse of Madness, had high expectations, didn't live up to them.
Well, no, that I understand. That's probably one of the things that I do understand is that with Multiverse of Madness is like I liked the movie. I love Wanda. I think she was the MVP. I was just expecting more cameos, more weird things to rock up. Like it seems like they barely just scratched the surface.
Yeah, it feels almost like kind of the sort of big cameos we got in. I mean, don't get me wrong, it fit in Deadpool because, like, especially with Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds' history, but like it's almost like I wanted more of those kind of random cameos in Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah, almost.
No, but I mean versus in Deadpool because Doctor Strange, there's not really like a specific set of characters that like cameos from another universe that would really tie to the character Doctor Strange. Whereas Deadpool is literally coming over from the Fox universe. So it's like, okay, I want to see the big Fox players. It's a tribute to the Fox universe. That was the movie to put them in. So yeah. So in that way, like the cameos disappointed me even more in Deadpool and Wolverine, even though it delivered more than Multiverse of Madness. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Well, we did. We did. Hey, we did get Patrick Stewart as Xavier in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah, but we knew he was in it, and oh, I guess, and I mean, I've sort of come around to this. Like, if they brought back the same actors in this case, at this point, I'd be okay if it was the case here. But like, I don't know. It's not like any of them were like versions of the characters we knew. Like with Spider-Man, part of what made that cool was it's not just bringing back the actors. You're not just bringing back the superficial part of it. You're bringing back like the story, like their stories, right? Whereas even with the X-Men, I mean, I get why, especially with Wolverine, they did it that way. But it's like, it's kind of different. I don't know. It's like, it's not. It would, if it worked out in a way where they could have like, I don't know, maybe actually brought back the Wolverine that like we know, but like not. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe it's too confusing for most people, but like, since they're dealing with time travel and stuff, like, couldn't they have brought in like Wolverine from like pre-Logan, like after Days of Future Past or something, rather than just making a totally different one? And they could have even done the suit, because they kind of set up at the end of Days of Future Past, like, oh, the X-Men, the OG cast is back. Not that we ever got to see them again, really, but like they're clearly gonna have more adventures before everything goes to shit in Logan.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to, well, I mean, it's debatable even if they're the same timeline, but I don't know. I don't really see why not.
Yeah. Well, it is, but technically it is the same timeline. Technically.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind. I must admit, it's funny we keep going back to Deadpool and Wolverine.
I guess it's because we haven't like talked about it in depth since we've seen it, so it's just natural.
That's right.
We're talking about comic book stuff. It's gonna come up.
It's all gonna flow together. I didn't mind they didn't bring back that Wolverine. Yes, you can argue that, and it's true, which I did say in my review as well. The plot, the actual meat and potatoes, the plot of the film is very thin. But I do like the whole idea that they get the worst Wolverine. We've had technically the best Wolverine through all the movies. I love the concept that they got the worst one, the one that didn't save the day all the time, the one that let everybody die.
Yeah, and I think Dan will agree with me on this, though. We agree. Like, I just thought his Hugh Jackman was great. Like, that movie, the execution was good, but yeah, like you're saying in the writing, like, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like his whole backstory was like so thin and half baked. It's like, the X-Men got killed by some people. It's like, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like they fought all these crazy threats and just some people. It wasn't even like some I don't know.
It wasn't a Magneto. It wasn't Apocalypse. It wasn't. Yeah, that's true.
And it's all these. It's like these power. Jean Grey and Professor X are like some of the most powerful mutants out there. They just got killed by some people.
Yeah, but they would have survived if Wolverine helped.
No, that's what I'm saying. Or at least if you're gonna do that, at least like that it would have been cool to see some of that original cast even in like a flashback. Again, even if they're like technically playing this other version of the characters and they're all in like comic booky costumes. I just feel like I don't know. I'm just like, okay, they're just not. I'm sorry. I guess I'm very like stuck on that. I'm like,
no, that's fine.
I'm like, the Spider-Man got to come back properly. Why you gotta like keep doing the X-Men dirty? That's kind of how it feels to me.
Yeah,
I feel like they keep doing it over and over, and I'm just like, oh my god, just end this multiverse thing. Stop like messing with me.
Yeah, just teasing me at this stage. Now, well, before we had that scene, I was under the impression that he was going to be the Wolverine that from the comic that slaughtered the X-Men because someone tricked him, or he went on a whole rampage and he killed all the X-Men in the X-Mansion. And I assumed like the hit up was going to be the one. When he came to, he felt horrible, and that's why he was wearing the yellow suit.
Yeah, I guess to me, I wish it could have just been like like I said, because it's like they almost could have alluded to a whole other adventure with that original cast after Days of Future Past, and maybe they could have even. It was a whole new timeline. They could have just had those kind of costumes at that point in that new timeline.
Well, I assume they would. I assume if he was wearing the yellow, then they would have had their old costumes, the blue and yellow.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. That could have been like that timeline though, in a way. If they could have found a way to actually weave it into like the Days of Future Past new timeline at the end, like because we didn't really see them in costume at the end. They were just around the mansion.
Yeah, that's.
I just feel like there's
true.
like would have been so much more like, at least for the fans who'd watch those movies. Because I rewatched all the whole X-Men Deadpool franchise leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Good job.
And I don't know, to me at least, like I think those are, other than a select few, I think they're very underrated comic book movies. Like if you like comic book movies, at least, like I think so many of them are like, people talk about them like they're horrible, and I'm like, these are better than half the MCU movies at least.
Oh, okay. No. The
other than like a handful, like the three that I think really honestly on rewatch, even there was only two I really wasn't a fan of. And that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. But even that one, you still got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah, you still got the merit.
And then that would be my second least favorite. And then the worst one I think is Dark Phoenix. Not
the second one.
The Dark Phoenix, though, like the last one with the kind of prequel cast.
Yeah, that was
not the cast mostly is pretty good, but like the story is just
Yeah, the story's bad. That is just, and it's just sad that like that's how that quadrilogy ended. Oh, because X-Men First Class
first two are like incredible, and honestly, on rewatch, it's not nearly as good as the first two. But like, I don't know, I enjoyed Apocalypse a good bit too. It would be pretty low in my ranking, but I mean, my ranking's on Instagram and Letterboxd, so
cool. I'll check that out. But the first X-Men First Class was so good. Days of Future Past was near perfect. Apocalypse was.
I think Apocalypse is like a very entertaining popcorn movie.
Yes, and Dark Phoenix was just awful.
Yeah, it's just the villain was just horrible.
Yeah,
the villain was just like
just
like some random woman gets possessed, and I don't know, and it's like they were trying to do the Phoenix Saga like better than they did in Last Stand. Like I guess neither are like the comic, but like at least Last Stand, I guess people are saying, oh, like that one, like it's bad because it like split the focus on that with the mutant cure. But like honestly, that worked better with it than they still split the focus in Dark Phoenix because they had that whole like weird plot with those other aliens and like what was that?
What? No.
Dan is joking. He's joking.
Oh, okay. 2 seconds later, he sent that.
No, like because like the mutant, I think, and again, I wrote pretty in-depth letterbox reviews actually on the whole Fox X-Men Deadpool franchise, like leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine. But one of the ones I like that I think is most underrated is X-Men: The Last Stand. I think it's like a pretty good trilogy capper. It's like a little rushed, but I think the mutant cure plot and the Phoenix plot, the way they do it, and that actually works better together than most people say, because like Magneto obviously like is leading the charge against that whole mutant cure thing.
And then dies for the first time.
Yeah, then no, he doesn't die in that movie.
Yeah, he does.
Magneto?
Oh no, sorry, Xavier dies. I said Xavier dies.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then I guess and Jean is finally she's been suppressed by Xavier this whole time, right? And then now she's finally been unleashed. So it kind of makes sense she'd team up with Magneto, who's going against everything Charles was standing for. It's because it's a primal thing inside her, right? The Phoenix.
Yeah.
So it's a super powerful child acting out and going with the rebellious kind of, I don't know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's
I feel they actually work together more than people say.
It as much as people didn't like X-Men Last Stand, it's still better than what they did in Dark Phoenix. And I can't remember if this was confirmed or true, but I remember they did have to do reshoots because apparently
the Captain Marvel thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like Captain Marvel more, I guess, but it wasn't great either. So
no, Captain Marvel was better. A lot better.
but in a very bland kind of just like middle of the road way.
Yeah.
It's like not bad, but it's also like just a movie I feel almost completely apathetic to.
Yeah, but how good was the Marvels though? Say what you say about the Marvels. I will stand on this hill the fact that Kamala Khan, she was the MVP of that movie. She was the best part of that movie.
It's not saying much, but okay.
The rest though, the villain, it's all shakes up pretty bad. But
yeah, Sam Raimi, I don't know. He did really cool stuff, I think, visually with I don't know. I certainly whatever issues that movie had, I don't really think Sam Raimi was the problem.
No, I think there was other things at play. Not to mention, we are going to get a Doctor Strange 2 actor that will be appearing in Venom 3. He'll be appearing. It's oh god, it was on the tip of my tongue before I said this.
Oh, Chiwetel?
Yes, the guy who's in the green sorcerer outfit.
Okay, yeah.
He'll be in Venom 3. But look, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to why you are all here.
Oh boy, okay.
Joker 2, which is as I said, it's a sequel to the 2019 film directed by Todd Phillips. Currently, the first one only had a budget of $70 million and made $1 billion in the box office. Currently, right now, Joker 2 had a budget of about $200 million and has only made $20 million at the current box office as we are recording this right now.
I wonder how up to date is that?
That is me checking online right now on global.
They don't really release the numbers too much until like tomorrow for the weekend, right?
Right. So
So what is it? Have they? But they probably have a general projection of what it's going to make by now.
They would. Well, the current box office report says 20 million, so it might be different come Monday.
Yeah, because I know at one point they were saying like 70-ish million was the projection, but I'm like, I know it's like I've seen this happen with so many. It happened with the Flash too, and then it's like it just keeps dropping
and dropping and dropping.
Yeah.
So, Eric, tell me. So going into this, Okay, let me rephrase this. I really want to go this. After watching the first Joker, did you want to see a Joker 2?
I don't know. I don't think I was like vehemently like opposed to it like some. But yeah, no, I didn't think it was like obvious or necessary.
So you weren't like, oh, I really can't wait to see a second one. I really can't wait for them to do something different.
Yeah, not really. No, I mean, it seemed like it worked well as a one-off.
So how did you feel when they announced the fact they were making Joker 2?
Oh, so, okay. Like, again, I didn't think they like needed to, but also, I don't know, I'm just weird like this. I was intrigued because it sounded like, I don't know, just I wanted to see. I guess I wanted to see what they would do.
Okay. How do you feel when they announced Lady Gaga was going to be in it?
I don't know. I was on board for that. Honestly, I think she's a pretty decent actress from the things I've seen her in.
She's done really good on film. Now, here's the other question: which they haven't really promoted this in the advertising. It being a musical.
So I don't know. I'm probably gonna surprise people, but like with the, honestly, like it took me aback a bit at first, like obviously because like okay, that's different, but pretty quickly I kind of thought that wasn't much of a stretch that they would go that route with the sequel to Joker because they're very like the first Joker, whether you love it or hate it, is like a very like it's at least in the realm of comic book movies, it's a very like kind of arty film, I guess.
Oh, it is. The first one is really good.
Yeah, no, but I mean, even just like the way it's it's shot and everything, like both of them have really great cinematography. And
they do.
Like, I don't know, and it was already doing something very different to begin with, and I just feel like a lot of scenes in it were like already not literally kind of happening. They were kind of in his head. and he did break out into dance multiple times. So I actually didn't really. I felt like it being a musical actually could possibly be them just like pushing a bit further what they were already sort of doing, even if people didn't realize it.
I can see that. This,
but I know most people didn't feel that way.
No, I am one of those people. The scene. So we are going to dive into spoilers, and I would also like to say, I'd like to thank you, Warner Brothers. I got to go to the early premiere here in Australia to go see it, which was an absolutely great night. Not to mention, it was an Australian company called Death Gin, which sponsored the event, which I thought, oh, of course, I'm like, that marries up perfectly. It's going into the musical. Saying it was a musical did decrease my hype into this, because I can't say ever on paper that I was looking going, oh, I really can't wait until the Joker sings. The Joker singing is what's really missing from the films. And also, before anyone asks, this is still outside James Gunn DC universe altogether. The singing scenes in this, so
Are we talking about the actual movie now, or the still just what we were thinking on going?
Still thinking what we're thinking about the
okay.
The singing of it all really did make me drop my anticipation for this movie altogether, but it's gonna get interesting into this. But I do love, probably my favorite thing, one of the favorite things about this film that kicks us off is I do love that they did the Warner Brothers old animation of the Joker versing his shadow to kick off the film.
Okay, so we're talking like thoughts on the movie now, not
thoughts on the movie. Yeah, thoughts on the movie.
So we're starting off right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, I did hear that was going to be how it started off a while ago. I saw that, so I was expecting that. I didn't know what exactly, but I heard it was going to be like a Looney Tunes style cartoon. And honestly, like I was kind of like, I mean, yeah, it's a musical, and they're just swinging for it with this one, and they're so like I don't know. Yeah, as far as I don't know, I thought it was I'm a little unsure. They never really like confirm what that was exactly. Is it just a thing? Like, I think near the end you hear one of the guards or something singing the "Me and My Shadow" something like. So maybe it is an actual cartoon that got made in that world. I don't know. Maybe it's part of the TV movie that they keep talking about. They made about Arthur.
I know. I'm disappointed that we didn't see any clip of that.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe that was part of it.
Yeah. It could have been. I thought it was really good. I like how they did the old school animation and how that went into it. I thought that looked really good, especially going straight into the movie. I did like how this movie is pretty much a back-to-back film to the first one. Pretty much. Yeah. This is just straight go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in many ways, I've heard people or actually some people's criticism is it's like not enough its own movie. It's just like an epilogue to the first movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that comment, but yeah, you're right, actually.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that that's my opinion, but I have seen that, and I get what they mean.
Yeah.
I mean, but some of the best sequels are ones where it does just feel kind of like it's not just a sequel; it's like literally part 2 of what we saw before.
Yeah, it's pretty much. And as the animation does finish, we see that Arthur is in Arkham State Penitentiary, Arkham State Hospital, sorry. And we see that he's pretty much beaten down. He's not making jokes anymore. He's skinny as. I'm looking at it going, God, you got so skinny for this film. Like, you just see all his rib cages and everything. Like, yeah, like, and you see that he's very much broken compared to seeing him in prison and comparing it to the last scene that we see him on top of the police car. It's so different.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of this movie, like what it was trying to do was kind of de-glamorize, I guess, what we think was going to kind of happen after he became the Joker.
Yeah.
Like how like this is a grounded kind of world, you know? So it's like he's going to go to prison and it's going to be bad and his life's going to be even worse.
So he did get caught.
Yeah, so well no, I mean to be fair, the end of the first movie ends with him in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, that's right, he did too. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, no, that's on me. I remember him being on the police car. Yeah, no, that's right. He was.
Oh yeah, no, that's near the end. That's like the iconic kind of shot, but it's like the very end of the movie.
Like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't know, so much of this movie I think is actually kind of a natural extension of the first one, like I was saying, because even the Looney Tunes stuff of it, I mean, aside from obviously it's all Warner Brothers, so they can do that, but like even the end of the first movie, I think the running back and forth when it's like an old cartoon. Basically, the last shot is him like running back and forth down the halls in Arkham, and the orderlies like chasing him like a cartoon or something.
So you could, yeah.
So it's like weird. It's like a weird mix of like grounded, but also like these homages to like kind of like really like wacky cartoon kind of things. So that's why, like, I don't know. That's why to me, at least going in, the musical idea didn't seem crazy, and not to mention that the Joker and Harley Quinn are literally clowns.
Well, of course.
So, yeah.
Well, they are, which I will say, Lady Gaga's suit at the very end, her full outfit looks so good, and I feel it was robbed the fact that it was only in it for like 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah. No, I mean, are we jumping to the end of the movie yet?
No, I was just because we were just talking about because he's mentioned about the clown. I just did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will say without getting into any more, like, oh yeah, I agree. I think like Lady Gaga's look in this was like a really cool kind of different look for Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And it was a nice, like, very much like a counterbalance to Margot Robbie. I know some people still are going to compare them, but like I don't really think they're even that comparable.
No, they don't. And it's Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn is a lot more grounded in what it will be in this in the real world. And I think Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, especially in the last Suicide Squad movie, is like she's picture perfect from the comics almost of Harley Quinn.
Yeah. I think the only issue with her is that we just never got to see her actually like when she was a villain before she was just like kind of the Suicide Squad anti-hero.
Yeah. No. Well, we only had clips which was in Suicide Squad very shortly.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That was like those issues we talked about with the whole DCEU and how I feel like there might already be repeating that with the DCEU.
There's things missing. But as we join Arthur in state prison, he's made friends with the guards, technically, I guess, and they technically are his friend, but at the same time they're picking on him. Also making him kiss other guys, which was a weird scene.
Oh yeah, that's weird. I remember that like from the first time, and I don't know what I was doing. The second time, I almost forgot that was in the movie.
Yeah,
but yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like,
nothing against it, but I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. I guess so. What was that about? The guards forced him to do that or something?
Yeah, I think if he wanted to smoke.
Oh, yeah, they were bribing him with things. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't know you were a fruity, Arthur," and all this. I'm like, "Yeah, this is all right."
Yeah, the guards are pretty horrible in this movie.
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson. I mean, he's a great actor, so it was cool that they had like such a kind of prestigious actor in like kind of that sort of not small, but like small but important part.
Yeah,
just to kind of like fill out the world. I thought.
I know. It's funny when I saw him, I was like, okay, so Harry Potter, Paddington Bear, Joker 2.
Yeah, and he was in that movie with Colin Farrell, which is funny or multiple movies, but they were just in that one. I mean, different kind of thing, but just like funny because now they're both in like Batman villain spin-offs.
That's right, yeah. And as yeah, we get to see this relationship with the guards. It's pretty horrible in Arkham State Hospital, which is no surprise. We do find out that he is in like the level 5 or 4 in this hospital, which he gets taken across to go join the singing crew because the guards love to sing, so they want to help Arthur, and that's where he meets Lady Gaga's Harley Quinzel.
Yeah, or Lee Quinzel.
Lee Quinzel. That's it. And where we first get introduced to Lady Gaga, Lee, and she admitted herself. Initially, we get told she admits herself.
Okay, so we're jumping to the twist now.
No. I'm like when they have their conversation.
Otherwise, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, when they have their conversation, he tells her why she's in there, that she admits herself. She burnt her house.
I thought that was a really pleasant surprise, the actual like twist there, because that was one thing I was a little unsure how I felt about. I was willing to go with it from the trailer, but I'm like, oh, okay, clearly the trailer is making it seem like, okay, they're not at all kind of going with Harley Quinn's like normal origin. She's just already an inmate. But that was kind of a nice twist, I thought, like in subversion and actually making it more like the Harley Quinn we know, that okay, no, she actually was like a psychiatry major or something, and she she's just that like kind of disturbed already and fascinated by the Joker that she like admitted herself, right? And so she's like the Joker's biggest fan.
Yeah, and I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, that to me, I don't know, that to me is like very much, I think in that way they got the essence of what the character is about, even though this is a very different take on the character, like especially for such a kind of Elseworlds thing. Like, I mean, we'll get into it more later. I mean, maybe clearly Arthur maybe never was supposed to be, but I'd say she is like more like Harley Quinn than he is like the Joker. But I mean, there's reasons for that we'll get into.
We will, but I can see what you mean by that. I did like the twist as well, that I thought, okay, so initially I thought I was not annoyed, but I was like, okay, so they're going to go in that direction with her being, she's already admitted and everything. But I do like the swerve at the end where it's back. It's like, okay, you're more Harley Quinn than we actually do think you're going to be. But I would say, with her performance, is like performance from being an inmate to the end, she did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, that was one, I think, at least the first time, especially, like, even though in some ways I would have liked more of her, and in a lot of ways she was my favorite part of the movie. Partly because Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic. I mean, you could argue he's even a little bit better just because he has more time, but like, I don't know, she was kind of the new exciting factor in this one that we didn't have in the first one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it makes sense. And I know, like I said, I wasn't a really big fan of the singing scenes, but it does make sense, the fact that the whole singing is in their is them singing, but it's in their head when she is his muse. That's he's the Joker when he's happy, his true self, and the singing. The singing does make sense. But do you think the singing scene should have been shorter, or are you happy for how long they went?
I mean, I think they maybe could have been, some of them could have been like kind of woven in a little more seamlessly. I guess a lot of the actual, because it's weird, there's kind of like two different types of musical numbers throughout this movie, right? There's the ones where it's clearly in his head, and those kind of play like just like interludes almost. So I can understand some way people saying like it's kind of interrupts the plot. It's just like we just kind of stop, but it's sort of like it's like an interlude into like kind of where he's at mentally with things at this point in the movie. And then there's the ones where it's like kind of more unclear if it's in their head or if it's just Harley and Joker like singing and everyone around's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's wrong with them?
I mean, there is a part where I think when he's being interviewed by the one guy and he starts singing and the interviewer guy is like, what's happening?
Yeah, I did like that. He's like, okay.
So I like that even with the parts where it did seem like it was happening for real. It's not like a traditional musical where everyone started like, dancing in the background. I mean, there was like a bit of that with the Prisoners, but that was because they were kind of embracing Arthur.
Yeah.
But like, it's sort of, they made it out like as if actually how people might react if someone just started singing as if they were in a musical. So I thought that was
not everyone jumps in together.
Yeah, but then the parts that are like definitely clearly in his head, then it's like a full blown musical thing.
I'd say one of my favorite musical numbers that they do, I would say, which I think just because the setting is just when they're escaping from Arkham, where they're trying to escape. I did like that scene. Like that made sense with like the spotlights and how they were singing in that sense. We were trying to get away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I felt like because I saw it twice. The second time, maybe it was just kind of knowing where it was all kind of how the structure would be more. I felt like the first time I understand what people were saying, and I did feel it a bit that it felt like it was almost a bit of a blur, like they all blurred together, the musical numbers, and there's not really certain ones you remember.
Oh like, I tried looking at the soundtrack back on Spotify. I'm like, I can't tell you which one's which. I can't tell you what song goes with what scene.
Yeah, but I don't know, on rewatch I think, I mean, it's just partly that's how rewatching things goes. You like retain more, but I think I don't know, it worked for me a bit better the second time, I would say. In terms of, I don't know, and I just want to preface this. I don't know, I actually like musicals generally, so.
So are you excited for Wicked?
Not really.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, and not because I inherently don't like that, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it looks great.
No, I don't mind musicals. It's and some are really good. It's just when you have that first film and then you have this, it just didn't seem like Chucky and musicals seemed to me a bit like, okay, how do we really be weird? We need something really different. Like, yeah, Chucky the musical, that'll make it like it seemed like an odd thing to slide into this universe.
I think in one sense. Oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in one sense, yeah, you could argue maybe it's like it feels like, did they just do that because it was like the most unexpected way you could go, because they didn't really want to make a sequel, and since they sort of were told, oh please, you got to make a sequel because it made $1 billion by Warner Brothers, then they're like, okay, but we're gonna just kind of like do something crazy then.
That's true.
But
Upside Down, I like Upside Down Dan. I like musicals, but not this.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Dan have had a lot of conversations.
I bet. As you were saying.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna. But like again, the flip side of that to me is that I still don't think. Again, it's like debatable how much it worked, but I don't think it's actually. Like, I know, to me, I don't know, maybe I have a different view on the whole first movie. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to make it a musical, because so much of it was like these scenes where you're literally not even sure what's real. And that's literally like, and it's all these like inner kind of things going on in his head. And that's what, I think that's like the essence of what a musical is. It's just the difference is they're singing.
Well, that's right. So when you explained it before, it makes sense how the musical would come in. It just seems such an odd choice. Like, was it a choice that was made for the film, or was it more of a choice that like, hey, we've got Lady Gaga, let's we get Lady Gaga, we can shift this all together? Because as what you've seen, a lot of people I've seen have not liked the musical aspect of it. Not to mention, also after having that musical scene of where they escape, we get probably the most lackluster, awkward sex scene in a movie ever.
I don't know. I think it's not supposed to be like a really like sexy scene though, per se.
It is not. No, it's not.
Like, it's just like it's basically like, okay, like the whole movie is basically like by the end you realize Harley Quinn or Harleen or Lee or whatever is really manipulating Arthur, and that's like just another step in her doing that, as you find out later.
Well, yes, you do, because she's like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. What we think on that. I don't know when but
No, well, from the interesting
what
sex
do you
scene,
think about how she got? I've heard some people wonder how she got in to like see him. I feel like you can just kind of chalk it up to like, well, she checked herself in there. The guards are all corrupt.
I think it was just because the guards were corrupt.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a stretch. Like, I think it's one of those things, like you were saying, how did Batman get back into Gotham? I mean, it's like one of those things I feel like it can be explained away pretty easily.
Yeah, well, that's right. So the comment that Eric's just talking about is we were talking about Batman films before we started this episode, and we were talking about The Dark Knight Rises, and we are talking about a bit of a stretch thing. And I said, I always notice the fact it's such a stretch that Bruce Wayne gets back into Gotham from being in a Middle East country unfazed. So you're all right. If we take that same analogy and go into this,
yeah, for the record, like I remember that to me like isn't much of a plot hole, and I even talked with you. There's like other things I think are more of a plot hole in that movie, and I love that movie. It's like my favorite movie. Yeah. But yeah, no, like to me I think it's just a matter of like when you're telling a story. In some cases, the exact logistics of things aren't necessarily the important thing to focus on.
Harley Quinn must have owned the prison.
I mean, she was rich, right?
That's true. That's a hell of a plot. Hey, it could be a stretch that her father was what's his name? The guy who created Arkham.
Her father, what?
It could be a stretch that her father was it Adamir Arkham, the guy who created Arkham?
I mean, wouldn't her father's last name probably be Quinzel, though?
Look, how many movies have we watched where they've got a different last name? It's like, oh, this is actually my father. And you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, I changed my name.
Yeah, no, I know. And that'll actually play into one of my theories I have with this movie later on. I think when we're done, like, discussing through the actual plot, kind of, I've got some.
Stay tuned, guys. So, from the love scene that we get, interesting love scene, we begin
I do just want to say, I know it's like not supposed to be, and you're saying like, oh yeah, it's really like not a sexy scene, but like, also, Lady Gaga still looks pretty good in it, I think.
Oh, she does. The whole
That's all I want to say.
Even when she's just got the clothes on, the inmate clothes on, I'm like, yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, the scene wasn't like supposed to be sexy per se, but I don't know. Throughout this whole movie, I thought she was, for what that's worth.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right, and Dan, especially being able to get in the cell on the solitary confinement level, and being able to bring something on top of that. She must have owned the prison.
Yeah, I mean, see, these kind of things are things like I feel like people are picking on this movie for that they wouldn't pick on other comic book movies for, because it's like a serious, grounded tone. But like these are things in most movies. Most movies have like some kind of contrivances like that.
Oh, they do, and it's I think some people do forget that at the basis of this movie, it's a comic book movie at the very basis of this. So
yeah, but like even other movies have like, I don't know, it's like rare that movies don't have some things like that, but some movies people like suddenly decide, oh my god, in this movie it's unacceptable. That's how I kind of feel with a lot of things in this movie.
How can you do that? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't continue on properly.
And it's ridiculous for me to compare these two, I know, but like there's a lot more things in the script that don't make any sense in Deadpool and Wolverine. Not saying that, like, I know it's not really fair. Like, it's a Deadpool movie. I get it. I'm not like totally. I know I'm not like that much lacking in like self-awareness with what I'm saying, I don't think. But I also just feel like certain movies, people are like just so much more like anal about these things. Because
They are.
oh, they're taking it seriously. Well, then how come it's not like absolutely perfect, like in every regard? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some comments I see from people. I'm like, really, for the 2-hour movie, like that's what you pick? Like that's what you know, that's the hill that you die on? Is that little bit? I'm like, which is like, minuscule to the entire film.
Yeah.
No, I completely couldn't agree with you more, man. So with after this, okay, interesting sex scene. I'll change that for Eric's.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize I was gonna like draw out the talking about that sex scene so much.
No, it's all right. We start beginning with the trial of the century, whether or not Arthur is going to go on the death row or if he's going to get through his court case alive. Which his whole thing is that he's going to play that. Well, thanks to his legal lady, I forgot her name. That it's a split personality. Joker's one, and Arthur's the other. Where Harvey Dent is coming in saying the fact that's the same person, and they want him to go on death row. How did you feel with Harvey Dent rocking up?
I mean, I think it just, I don't know, it was kind of a natural way to, it seemed like it just kind of made sense to bring him in if you're going to make like a courtroom drama in Gotham, right? And he's a district attorney. Because, I mean, we even got to see him do a bit of that when we were first introduced to him in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, for 2 seconds, yes. And I do love, which we'll get to later, I did love it still. As soon as I saw him rock up, I'm like, yeah, when's that face gonna burn?
Oh,
I was like, what's gonna happen to you? Someone's gonna throw some acid or something. Like,
yeah, I wasn't sure if it would happen in this movie or not. Or, I mean, I guess not that I think there's gonna be another movie in this franchise, probably, but
no. Todd Phillips has said that he's done. This is it.
Yeah,
this is it. Oh,
and I think it actually will be true this time. Like, even though he said that about the first one, but then it made $1 billion. But that's not going to happen with this one, obviously.
No, because which we'll get into later. I don't think this is going to make it $1 billion. No. No. So we get to see with the court case. We get to see the Joker properly for the very first time in the actual real story. How did you find the whole court case scenes going on?
I mean, I think it was kind of, I don't know. I think it was you can probably start to tell where my opinion on this movie is going, but
in the wrong direction, ladies and gentlemen. It's going in the wrong direction.
I think it was kind of cool that it was a courtroom drama, and I mean, like the first Joker, I think some people were wanting a bit more like spectacle in this, outside of maybe the fact of like obviously the musical numbers are like extravagant and they're spectacles in a different way. But like the first Joker is like that rare comic book movie because it's even different from even like Batman movies, even like the Batman that's like a bit of more of a slower burn detective story. It's still also an action movie. The first Joker is not at all an action movie. It's a drama. Right?
That's right. And I still have people now who watch the film for the first time and they say, geez, it's so dark, isn't it? It's just such a dark film. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie, even though it's a musical, it still kind of really contains, like, continues that very, very kind of dark and dreary vibe.
Oh, it does. It's still got the same vibe as the first one.
Yeah, and I guess so. Yeah, no, I think because like the first one, like it is really a drama. I think kind of what these movies are kind of like the big thing that I think makes them like, I mean, this one obviously is more debatable, but even the first one was divisive. But for the people that do like the first one, and maybe some people who like this one, I think like just the performances are really what it's all about. A courtroom drama provides a lot of opportunity for like really kind of meaty like character interactions. And the whole movie is about like kind of examining and reflecting on what the whole Joker movement means, I think, and what Arthur's part is in that. The Courtroom is kind of the natural kind of way. Again, if it's a follow-up, if we're like directly following that up, this is what's going to happen. So I think it was a natural kind of extension of what would come next in the story after he's in prison.
Well, no, of course, and there's some of the court scenes has some of the best performance throughout the movie, both from Arthur, and which Dan has also mentioned. I love seeing Elizabeth as Sophie. I'm glad she did come back. For some reason, I wasn't expecting her to come back, but I'm glad she did. And Leigh-Gill as Gary Puddles. The Gary scene was my favorite scene, I think. The Puddles scene was so intense.
It was intense, but also like it was kind of funny too. Well, at least at first, kind of like how he just goes on and on about like Puddles, like your name's Puddles.
Yeah.
And I was talking about with Dan and he kind of just goes on like too long about the same thing. It's like because that's Arthur. He doesn't like know kind of when it's too much. He's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, with it being a courtroom drama, it was like a natural way to bring back a lot of the smaller characters from the first movie. And I hadn't seen the first movie really. Like I didn't actually get around to rewatching it before this one, but I don't know. I saw it 3 times in the theater when it came out, and once or twice on Blu-ray back when it came out, all fairly close together. So it was sort of like, I don't know. It's sort of one of those movies I think that's pretty like permanently like in my brain. So I still remembered everybody that showed up. I think the only one that wasn't in the first movie that was a witness was like the male psychiatrist guy who was like I guess saying that he didn't think Arthur was like that he had split personality.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the first one.
No.
But other than that, I think everyone else was.
Yeah. Because I thought that too. I was like, yeah, I don't remember you being in the first one. And
because I feel like he's someone, it makes sense because it's like they're just like there would be someone probably they'd interview like who didn't talk to Arthur till after the fact of the events of the first one to like examine him.
And shows that Arthur and the Joker are the same person. I did feel so sorry for Puddles. He's like,
that was a good scene. I can understand if that's a favorite. I don't know if I have a definitive favorite scene yet or not, but that's certainly and it's not just a good scene, but it's an important one to and Arthur's arc in this.
And the first witness.
The first witness. Is he saying that the first witness wasn't in the first movie?
So Dan said yes. So I liked that it was funny and they were intense and uncomfortable. And his southern draw.
Oh yeah, that even kind of ties in with the whole Looney Tunes side of it because he sounds like the rooster from Looney Tunes to me.
He did.
Which I've only recently
Foghorn, leg on.
Yeah.
Also, Dan, I loved Gary said you were the only one at work who wasn't mean to me.
Yeah, so I guess so it was kind of heartbreaking for him that the one guy who was nice to him is like a psychopath. The one guy that validated him, I guess, to a degree, was the Joker, basically.
The other one who was mean to me happened to be the guy that turns into a psycho, kills a whole bunch of people on live TV, and is right there in front of him, laughing at his pebbles. And he's like, well, even when he said, he's like, I've never felt so small. I can't go back to work properly. I stayed all night at the cop shop. It's just like, oh God.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, and I think something I noticed more on the second time is like. It's interesting with how things go in the story. That's, I think, one of the key moments in where things kind of go for Arthur's character in terms of like what he decides by the end.
Yeah, well, by the end, in the next scene, the next one, he goes, Also, Dan, I do wish Bruce Wayne was in it. Like he or Alfred could have been a witness. He touched Bruce and then clocked Alfred in front of him. I do want.
Actually, I didn't even think of that, but that's because I was going to say like, well, of course I was hoping or even expecting to maybe see Bruce or some kind of Batman nod. But when you mentioned it there, when Dan first said that, I'm like, yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be against that. But at first I was like, but I don't know if he needed to be in it. But now that you mention that, yeah, I'm surprised I didn't think of that. But yeah, that's actually a pretty natural way that would even make sense.
And it would have. That's why I'll go into a little bit more as well. Is that I didn't. That's probably one of the gripes about the film. Is like I feel like, not saying Batman has to be everywhere, but there was no. There wasn't even like a flyer or a throwaway comment saying, that night you became the Joker. The city was in chaos. We lost. $1 billion family's been lost because of you. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe they just wanted to like focus in on like, okay, this is like, we know that's happening, but like, this is Arthur's story maybe. But like, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I'm just kind of guessing where they were thinking.
Well, that's the thing. I do understand this is Arthur's story. I understand this is the Joker. Like, I get that. I guess it just surprised me that not even like a throwaway comment or
it surprised me there wasn't like any.
Not even like someone reading like a newspaper.
I mean, the most I saw was like, and I don't think I saw it the first time, but like, there's like in one of like the shots that's like showing the city, you see the Wayne Tower.
No, I missed that. But yeah,
there's a big tower that says Wayne on it, so there's that. But yeah, it's not
forefront.
Yeah, there's like a lot of subtle things in this movie that, I mean, not that that's not a plot thing, but as we'll talk about, like, I do feel like there's like some plot things that maybe just because they weren't underlined enough or fleshed out more, but they are there, are like kind of going by some people. They're like not catching everything, and then I feel like some of those things like vastly improve the movie and the script when you realize they are there, even if they're not like in your face.
Yeah, it's not there, but you notice them. I might have to watch it for a second time. How do you feel about the scene, which is natural progression from what we're talking about, him renouncing the Joker, renouncing basically the Joker after what happens to the other cellmate, which was a rough scene. What happens to the other cellmate is a bit rough.
Yeah, no, so, okay, well, I'm glad you brought up that. I was going to say, like, the first time I don't think I even, like, kind of, and I think Dan was saying that until we talked about it, he didn't, like, kind of, like, make that connection so obvious. But, like, when I saw it a second time, and like you said, it's, like, the scene right before, it's like, oh, okay, so that was, like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back, and that's why he's like, okay, I don't want to be the Joker anymore, because I'm just getting people killed.
Yeah, I'm just getting people killed. And it's all I do like about the scene is that you don't see it. You just hear it from Arthur's point of view.
Yeah, no, and I think maybe one thing too is like, again, if I was going to say like, and again, it's like, it's fine because, and I mean, well, clearly like you caught it, or you like kind of got that was the point from just one viewing, but I could see that going past some people, because even like, okay, I'm going to say this now. We're pretty far into this. I did enjoy this movie.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the. Okay. Thank you for being here. This is.
But I mean, I think that was becoming apparent for a while now. So I thought
it is.
It is.
Oh, his letterbox is 5 stars. What the hell?
No, it's not. But it's not too far off from that. But what's it called? Shit, what was I saying?
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
No,
I was gonna say,
Arthur's point of view.
Even though I liked it the first time I saw it, I didn't like kind of like. I think I still kind of was like, I don't know if I fully like processed exactly what the point was when he like kind of decided, or why he wanted to not be the Joker. But like, it is right there, and honestly, like, but like even Dan said he didn't kind of really get that till I like brought it up with him after my second viewing. But at the same time, it is there, and you clearly caught it on your first viewing. So that's like the thing that kind of breaks it. Maybe they just needed more like underlining or like emphasis on the importance of his relationship with that friend of his in the prison. Like it's sort of there. You see their friends, but like you don't like. I think you could have been a bit more invested maybe in that guy.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe a couple of extra scenes would have at least been handy with that guy. But
and also going back to the Gary Puddles thing though, and that I think that's the other main scene where you start to see him starting to shift because he sees what he's doing to some people. Yeah, it's both. It's the same thing really. He's seeing in one case emotionally, in one case physically, like these people he actually does like. He's hurting them by being the Joker.
Being the Joker, which Dan also said, or Bruce could have been in the courtroom in the audience, but yeah, especially because Arthur inspired someone to shoot Thomas Mother Wayne. That's right. This is very small, but would have just been a fun Easter egg, but would have been cool if we randomly got name drops of prisoners and patients at Arkham as the Batman villains. Yeah, I think that would have been just a nice, or someone just doing a roll call. And they're just at the beginning when they're all shuffling out.
Yeah, they probably could have done something. And I mean, there still might be like there's probably at least one or two Easter eggs that we haven't even like caught yet, I'm guessing.
I haven't even seen yet.
I mean, not that I think it's littered with Easter eggs, but there's probably something. But I would say my only pushback on them doing much of that would be, and I know you could say, oh, well, the whole Joker premise then is it's the case with it, but the end of the movie kind of shifts that.
Yes, which we're going to get into that part.
Yeah, I was just going to say, though, if there was too many like Batman villains already around when Batman's not around yet, that might be kind of odd when Batman's still a kid.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like it would kind of turn into like the Gotham TV show.
Oh,
which I watched the whole thing, and I recently I got a picture with some of the actors, so
you did too. I saw that.
Oh yeah, and it was kind of fun actually. So maybe it made my opinion go up a little bit. I'm like, okay, it's not like as bad as some of those CW shows, but yeah, but all is to say, it's certainly not one of the better adaptations of Batman. So that's definitely not the vibe I would want to bring into this movie.
No, okay, like that I can understand. We've also got Cam. I found I was very surprised the Joker threw his legacy away and had a change in his moral compass. Harley's manipulations did a number on him, and I agree with that statement.
But I mean, wait, so is he saying because of Harley, he thinks that he's ended up throwing it away? Because Harley was the one reinforcing him to do that. Or is he saying surprised he threw it away despite Harley Quinn pushing him?
No, he realized that she was manipulating him. He realized the fact she was only loving him for the Joker. I was a little surprised initially when he did renounce the Joker. I was a bit like, hang on, what? Hang on, why are you renouncing this? You've just the whole point of this. But then Harley Quinn, Lee, the guy that dies in the cell, everything else.
I think it's like if you're watching it and not knowing where it's going, it can kind of catch you off guard. And I feel like that's happened with a lot of people. But like when you actually think about it and see the arc sort of the movie, it makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
Again, some points could have maybe been underlined more, but I'm just saying it is all kind of there for it to make sense.
It is, but it's not in your face. It's just doing.
But to be fair, sometimes I'm not saying it's necessarily the case with this movie, but a lot of movies we praise for not spoon feeding the audience. Also,
that's on the other side of the fence. Yes, you do. You do.
And the ones where they kind of overly explain the exposition and everything. Sometimes we dump on movies for that. So it's kind of a weird double-edged sword, I think.
Well, let's look at a perfect example is at the ending of Inception.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this movie is Christopher Nolan level or anything, but
oh no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a perfect example of he does not by any means like over explain what is happening in his movies. You just kind of gotta like go with it and put some pieces together. Even like not even just like movies like Inception, but even like his Batman movies. Like there are scenes where I think some people like say, "Oh, is that a plot hole?" But it's more like, okay, no, he's just not spending time showing scenes that are just kind of obvious and don't need to be there.
Yeah, just
You know?
trimming out the fat. We don't need a scene on that. We don't need a scene on this.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just feeling like with this movie, as you can tell, it just sort of feels like there's so many things that this movie's doing that people are criticizing, and I feel like in other cases people would be praising or at least not be saying is a bad thing in other cases.
So you think maybe people are being too critical over this film because their
Oh my God,
their expectations weren't met?
Man, I mean, I don't know. Like, well, I don't know. Are we going to get into that more like when we kind of really give our final verdicts or?
Final verdict. Well, because after he renounces his Joker, it also leads to the courtroom. With the courtroom hitting the fake with the final decision, which leads to the massive.
Well, and also after he renounces that, then Harley walks out.
Oh, that's right. She walks out on him, starts taking off the makeup, which we get to see in the elevator. My apologies. Sorry. We get to see in the elevator, which is reminiscent from the first one.
Oh yeah, isn't there were some shots though, I think, that were in the trailers, not in the movie though, right? Isn't there a scene of her? Is there the scene of her in the elevator where she does have the makeup on, or is that just in the trailers?
She does have the makeup on, but it's like she looks like she's been in the rain. Like she looks like what she does when he meets her on the stairs.
Okay, no, because I've seen that shot, but I'm like, okay, I don't know. I've seen the movie twice, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that was only in the trailer.
No, if you're watching this right now, she looks like this on screen in the elevator. She doesn't look like.
Because I remember there's a scene of her going down in the elevator before she's dressed up.
Yes, that's right.
I remember that, but I don't know. Somehow both times I seem to have like I don't know, not retained the scene where she and I'm like,
which one is it? Which one is it? Is it the trailer or the movie? The trailer or the movie?
I don't know, because I know there are scenes that are in the trailer that aren't in the movie, but maybe that's not the case with that one. But isn't there also the scene where they're like dancing on the stairs? Like that's not in the movie.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, like there's definitely scenes that aren't in the movie. So that's a bit like, huh, what was that all about? Did they shoot it just for the trailer, or was it something that was cut?
Well, that's curious to see how many deleted scenes is going to be in this, because there is that.
No, but like so many, especially comic book movies, it seems like have these like scenes that are in the trailers and then just not in the final movie, and then we don't even ever see them as deleted scenes.
No, so, look at Infinity War with the Hulk running with the Hulk.
I think that's a bit different because that like clearly was a shot that's in the movie that they purposely changed. So
yeah,
that's different. That's like a that's clearly a misdirect. But I mean, there's some like again like ones where it's obvious because it was just a mess, like the first Suicide Squad, where you see like Joker with the burnt face, like pulling the grenade, like that's like I mean more like that, where it's just like, oh okay, that wasn't a misdirect. They just I don't know had some scene and they ended up changing the movie. I'm not sure which case this one was. Because I mean, this is a movie that clearly was, maybe to agree, and that's partly why it's getting the reaction, I guess. It was antagonizing the audience to a degree.
Well, it was. And with going back to the Suicide Squad, which is that's a whole nother kettle of fish with the deleted scenes and everything, because there's the whole thing with the Snyder Cut with like David Ara, there's like his version and there's the other version. Not to mention, there's also the version we got in the first trailer and the version we got in the third trailer. So that's like two movies that have been messed together.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's like, with this one, I could, not that, I mean, clearly I don't think, even though the ratings are about as bad, I don't think this, actually the audience ratings are worse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dan, well, them dancing on the choir stairs was in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah.
That's right.
So I almost wonder, but that almost seems like something maybe they could have shot just to mess with people who are expecting, if they're wanting this movie to be like, I don't know, this might sound stupid, but like I think like a kind of like a rah-rah Joker, like, you know, the first one, I think, part of this movie's criticizing, I guess, to some degree, the whole Joker movement, right?
Well, it is because basically it says you shouldn't idolize him.
Yeah,
and
whereas
even
the first
Arthur
one has those scenes where he's dancing on the stairs and not that I don't feel that way about the first one, but like I get how that can like play as almost like, and no, maybe there's a part of me that like enjoys it in that way, but I also see that it's criticizing that still, but like it almost is like playing like glamorizing it, like maybe this is like a power fantasy, you know?
Yeah,
But
it's not a Harley Quinn movie in the sense that he is now he's the king, she's the queen. They're gonna take over Gotham.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's sort of reminiscent of him dancing on the stairs, and maybe like people were like expecting this movie to be like, okay, and now it's like him and Harley Quinn, and they're doing the dance. So maybe that was in there for that reason, to misdirect what really this movie was about.
Well, I think the movie is definitely misdirected everyone how I thought this was going to go.
But that's the thing though. It's like one of those cases where I feel like it's a misdirect that's actually clever, because it's a misdirect when you watch it at first, it takes you off guard, but when you stop and think about it, it actually makes sense, and it feels like a natural kind of like conclusion to Arthur's story, I think.
Yeah, it could go like this way. That's right.
Yeah, no, it's actually like a more clever kind of way to follow it up than I think I was
went
expecting.
the other way.
Yeah, well, because the other way, it's like, well, what happens then? Okay, so they just make another Joker movie in this universe, like setting up more movies, or rather this sort of, I mean, we'll get to the ending soon, but yeah.
Well, as we do have the giant explosion, which leads to Arthur escaping and going to Lady Gaga, which the Jokers do help him getting out, which he seems freaked out when he sees the Jokers helping him. When he's in the car, he seems a little bit freaked out what's going on. And
well, I mean, I think he's disoriented because he was just next to an explosion.
Yeah, which Harvey Dent's face.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. I whispered over to my friend the first time I saw it with, and for context, the 2 times I saw it, the first group of friends I saw it with were kind of like the general consensus with, or at least one of them especially like hated it, and so I could tell the whole movie, and I was like, oh, Two-Face, and he was just like, he was just so checked out already. But then I don't know, the people I actually saw the second time last night with some other good friends, and actually 3 good friends, and I don't think they loved it. Yeah, I love this movie to the same degree as me, but they actually all were kind of like me in the sense where I'm actually like a bit baffled. Like, I knew it would be divisive after I saw it the first time, but like how much the score has dropped, there's like such a disconnect with me, like I think, between what I feel is the quality of the movie and what the ratings are from both audiences and critics.
You're like, did we really watch the same movie? Like,
well,
did we watching the same thing?
I don't know, because I'm not sure where you fall on this, because clearly I don't think you were really a fan, right?
What gave that away?
But like, do you think like the actual, like when you're seeing the scores, do you actually think it's like that bad? Because I don't that's where I get it if it's not for you, but like it's like one of the worst rated like DC movies now almost, and like that's insane.
It is. They I don't know if you saw, but I did share on my Instagram yesterday. Is IGN posted a rating score kind of graph on all the films that contain the Joker, and it's a little bit up down, and it's like a dramatic drop for Joker 2.
Yeah, and like to me, like that's like, even if there's like not liking a movie and then there's actually thinking it's outright bad. Like, I know it's all opinions still kind of, but I feel like there is like some objectivity to apply, and like this is objectively a superior film to say like that first Suicide Squad or something. It is like just editing, story, everything. Even if you don't like the musical stuff.
Yes. Okay. No, I'll give you that.
Not to mention the acting and the cinematography. Like, I don't know. To me, at least, I feel a bit like I'm in the Twilight Zone or something. I'm like, this movie is not like a bad movie, but I can see why it's not for everyone.
It's not a yeah, it's
it
not
has
a
some
bad
issues.
film.
I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but like it's like really not this like disaster. I don't think at all. People are making it out to be.
No,
And that's like a hill I will die on because the more I've thought about it, the more I'm
Okay.
like, this movie's actually pretty good.
I'll die on this hill. Well, currently, right now, on Rotten Tomatoes, which I know a lot of people be like, yeah, you know,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That score just keeps dropping.
currently right now is 33% on the tomato meter and 31% on the popcorn meter of just it's
To me that's insane, but I mean to be fair, like the tomato meter is not actually like that's not the percentage like the average rating people or critics are giving it. That's the average rating or like of people that say it's fresh or rotten. So even if people are a little bit rotten, that counts towards like the percentage that
the popcorn meter is
30,
less than Madam Web.
That's like see that like you see what I'm talking about? That's crazy.
Yeah, look, it's
like I feel like it's a movie like so many people are just like I don't know, it certainly elicited a response.
It has definitely done a response, and we before we full cut off, Joker does see sees Harley Quinn, does see Lee. We do find out Lee doesn't give a shit about him because he's not the Joker, and she's going to leave him. And we see that Joker gets caught, goes back to prison, basic, and gets treated like shit again. And at the ending, we do get to see that he was going to be someone was going to meet him, which he does not make it to that meeting because one of the other inmates shiv him and kill him in a terrible joke.
I mean, the joke is basically just kind of telling him what's happening in the moment, basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a bad pun to his death, and then he's dead. But in saying that, we
were talking about that. So the first time I saw it, that was probably the thing I liked least was the ending. But then I don't know, thinking about it more, I'm like, that's actually what kind of pulls the whole movie and the message of the movie together.
Well, I was expecting him to die.
You were like going into it?
I wasn't expecting him to die. No, I wasn't expecting him. No, I wasn't expecting him to die at all.
For a second, I thought you said, "Oh, well, I was expecting him to die." And I'm like, "What?"
No, I wasn't expecting.
I predicted James Bond was going to die in No Time to Die long before it came out. That made sense to me.
The only reason you predicted that was how many times did Daniel Craig say, "I do not want to play this character anymore. I am so done. Kill me."
No, we knew. Okay, no, aside from knowing it was his last one, but okay, there's a whole other thing. But also, it was his last one. It was the 25th Bond movie overall. Yeah. It was like kind of a landmark one, and I saw the runtime was the longest one to date by a good bit. And I'm like, okay, they're doing it this time. It's like the only way you could really like kind of like end it, because he already kind of had a happy ending where he goes off with Madeline at the end of Spectre. Like he already had that Dark Knight Rises kind of ending. If you want to go past that, then the only other way to really make it feel like a definitive ending is dead. That's so right. Yeah. Okay, sorry, not to again. Oh, no, I guess it's not for you because you're a day ahead of me, but it actually is James Bond Day today. For you yesterday.
I haven't seen anything on Instagram. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, I made a little post about it. Not that it's I don't know, not as big of a deal as Batman Day, but it is a thing apparently. October 5th.
Day. Oh, I'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, because October 5th was yesterday for me. That's why I was like, when I think I saw this week was like International Podcast Day. I'm like, yes, it is, but it ain't for me because I missed it.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I don't know, but I know it does come to mind though all these other big. I feel like in the past decade, especially, there's been like this like kind of trend of like killing off all these characters we never expected to get killed off.
Oh, they're gonna do something different, and after Joker finished, I was very surprised that he did die. But my thoughts going into it. Now, this might be, I don't know if you get the same vibe of it as well, that I was talking with some friends about as well, is this with him dying and with the Jokers, is it meant to be a very similar message to what we got in The Dark Knight Rises, is that anyone can be under the mask? Anyone
Yeah, actually,
be the Joker?
I was having that conversation too with my friends last night. I think it's, yeah, even those separate continuities, they're actually, yeah, very much mirroring each other in that way. Like the Joker is just fittingly the flip side of Batman in a way. So they're both really like symbols. Like one is like kind of order and justice, and one is chaos. And basically, I think there's a little Batman and a little Joker in all of us, and it's a
What's
matter
in
of
you?
like, oh no, I'm saying both of them are in everyone, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a matter of which one kind of like comes out more, I guess. And you're based on your experiences possibly, or how you respond to your experiences. But yeah, no, I think, yeah, so sorry, do you want to, yeah, I agree with your point.
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, that's my point, is like it felt like, anyone could be the Joker, like, depending on how much it could be a stretch, it looked like the guy that did kill the Joker could have very much been Heath Ledger's Joker, because it looks like he was cutting his mouth.
I think, yeah, it's not 100%, but like I think basically it's heavily implied, like, yes, that's pretty clearly, I think, hinting like, okay, the guy who killed him is gonna be like the real Joker.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't think it's not Heath Ledger's Joker, just because they're not the same continuity, and like it wouldn't line up at all. But
no, I'm not saying it's it.
You mean he'll be like similar type of Joker?
Yeah, because he I don't know, you could see in the background was that it looked like he was cutting his
he
lips,
was carving his face. Yeah.
And then that was why I was like, okay, so he's
Oh yeah. I feel like that's just, that's sort of just, I think because Heath Ledger's Joker is so iconic, I feel like that's just sort of becoming a staple of like, that could be like kind of any kind of Joker. I mean, even Arthur kind of does that thing in the first one, not actually carving it, but with the blood. And Lady Gaga does it in this one in like one of the musical numbers.
She does, yeah. Who do you think came saw him?
I mean, my interpretation was, I don't think there was anyone. I think the guards sent him off to get killed by that guy. I think it was a setup.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. I mean, there could have been someone. I don't know if it matters either way, but like, I think the guards hated him, right? They were beating him up, and like he called them fat on the TV and everything. And I think they probably just told some guy like, hey, if you like, we'll give you a knife or whatever, and you can go kill him and have fun, and you won't get in any trouble.
Nothing will happen to you. Nothing will happen to you. Yes, it will.
Yeah. So I think it's like, I mean, if you want to interpret it, maybe it's still not necessarily that guy.
Yeah, like, Dan said the same things. I think it was a setup as well.
Yeah.
Now coming back, it kind of makes sense because the guy did walk a lot faster in front and did not come back for him. Yeah.
No, the whole thing was just like, okay, like I've seen like enough movies like this. It's like this is pretty sketchy. I mean, it's Arkham, but so I don't know. Yeah, at first I was like, but I was kind of invested in Arthur being the Joker after the first one, but now once I kind of like digested it, I'm like, well, everyone was kind of already, in a lot of ways. I think this movie makes, I think people have complained too that like, does Todd Phillips not really care about the Batman mythos? Is he just using the IP as a skin on top? But I'm gonna say I get that to a degree, because I think maybe he ultimately wanted to do like his like Scorsese-ish movie, and then but he could only get the money to do that if they called it Joker. But I feel like there's enough stuff there that actually kind of like shows, well, whether that was like his main drive to do it or not. I think he did pay attention and actually respect the source, actually, and to a degree, while not being afraid to subvert it. because I actually think this, especially even more so with this movie, like if we just had the one-off of Joker, it would be like we were all kind of wondering like, oh, with the age gap, right? In
Yeah,
the first
that's
one,
right.
it's like, well, okay, so I think it was sort of debatable in the first one already. Okay, is Arthur actually like the Joker? If like Batman's gonna fight when they're like that much difference in age and stuff.
Well, that too, and not to
Whereas,
mention, it does also play in the fact that there is multiple Jokers.
yeah, but in this one, maybe if we're implying whether it's that guy that kills him, which I don't know, I'd say for the purposes of the movie, I feel like that's the intention, that you're supposed to think like, oh, that's probably like the Joker, because
Yeah,
like because Arthur had a really interesting laugh in these movies, but it was like a nervous laugh, and whereas that guy's laugh at the end, that was sounding like Mark Hamill Joker.
oh, it did. When that
So
guy
like
was laughing, I'm like, that
I'm like
sounds.
this guy's gonna go to be like Mark Hamill Joker, like in the animated series or the Arkham games. That's like how I was picking that up. So I thought
Yeah.
that was, especially the second time, I'm like, that's pretty cool. And it actually, so like the ending of this movie actually makes this whole like duology like conform more to the kind of some version of the Batman mythos than it would have if it was just the one movie. Because now there's actually like a Joker that's more probably likely to actually go up against Batman, and it also retains the idea that I think it like makes Arthur Fleck his own character more, which in some ways I almost feel like it gives you permission to be a bit more sympathetic with him than if
Yeah,
he actually was the Joker.
he was never going to be. He's an A Joker. He's not the Joker.
Yeah, or he was like the inception of the whole like
Yeah.
idea of the Joker. He's like the seed that was planted, the like this whole Joker movement, and probably one guy who's really gonna be like the Joker one day. And I'm assuming it was that guy. But like, if you want to assume it's not necessarily that guy, like sure. But so I like that it's actually like without even having Batman in this movie actually I think makes it. I don't know. As a Batman fan, I feel like this made this whole kind of off like Elseworlds Joker universe actually more interesting, and like more actually like a version that I could see, like not that we're ever going to see it, but fun to think about what the future like Batman and how it all would play out in this universe. And I even have some more on that because I don't know if you want to. I don't know. Do you have anything to say on that yet?
No, I agree. It like that stuff. If that's film, yes, it does. And like that does help the mythos. It does help with the Batman stuff, especially that being very comic book. That could really have been like
It
a Mark
also
Hamill
like kind of
Joker.
makes the Joker a bit like it retains that whole thing of like I mean, I know there are some versions where Jack Nicholson was like just a guy and he became the Joker or whatever, but like generally like if like you consider the Heath Ledger one kind of like the definitive origin in the sense that there is no origin.
Yeah,
Then
I like my origin story to have multiple choice.
yeah, like Killing Joke and stuff. So like yeah, that's I think generally what people think of as like definitive Joker. So this actually plays more into that than the like even if it was that guy we saw, we really don't know anything about him, and that makes him all the more scary. If it was Arthur, it would change that. So this one, I don't know, I feel like in so many ways is like actually like I don't want to say correcting, but like kind of like completing that
What
gap.
the first one, yeah, what the first one started. Because you're right. Because I remember thinking that was one of the key points after I first saw the first one. I was like, Bruce Wayne's that old. Arthur Fleck's already this old. By the time, by the time Bruce Wayne becomes Batman versus the Joker, it's gonna be old man Joker. He's gonna be able to basically put him in a wheelchair every time.
Yeah. No, I mean to be fair though, I think not that it really makes enough of a difference, but I think Joaquin Phoenix, he's like in his 40s when he was in the first movie, maybe like around 50ish now. But he was supposed to be playing like someone who I think Arthur was supposed to be like about a decade younger. I mean, because actors play characters that are younger than him, but he'd still be
Yeah.
like in his 30s at least, so it's still a pretty big gap. But yeah.
Yeah, well, he still is. He's still in his 50s, and the Joker's not that old when he goes up against.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it depends on it's. I mean, to some extent, you could just say multiverse. I'm like, well, it's a little different in all of them, but
yeah. Oh, okay. Multiverse card, multiverse card.
I think it's about conforming enough though to like the spirit of it, and I feel like this actually does that more with the way this movie ends off.
And you feel like people aren't conforming enough to this movie. That's why people are being so too critical on it.
But like, I don't feel like. What do you mean? The people
being like too critical on it, like people aren't.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Story. I don't want this to sound like the wrong way, but I almost feel like people are like, too many people are like, just because of superficial things like the musical element stuff are kind of like crossing their arms and actually like missing a lot of the stuff that's there that makes it good.
This is not good. This is awful. this is no. Look, I will admit, when the movie finished, my first thought was, I think the first one's better.
Yeah, that was sort of my thought. Yeah.
I was a bit like, okay, I think.
But the first one's like a 5-star movie for me. So, but that's just me. I know some people don't like the first one even, but yeah.
Well, that's right. A few people don't like the first one, and the first one still created that controversial about the film and about Joker. It did have its merits, which we are having this with the Joker too, but it seems to be on such a bigger scale. But to me, this is probably, if you put in front of me saying, do you want to rewatch Joker or do you want to rewatch Joker 2? I'm probably going to pick Joker 1 every single time.
I mean, I'd pick both because I would want to rewatch Joker and then Joker 2.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I know what you're saying. I'm just being, yeah.
No, you're right. I get what you mean. But it's going on top of that, at least if you do now, when you go watch Joker 1, you can watch Joker 2 literally back to back and just do a 4-hour watch.
And I think it's actually, at first I wasn't sure if it like took away from the first one, but the more I think on it, like I said, I think this completes the story in a way for Arthur Fleck. And I feel like it makes it kind of more definitively that he's his own character. And you know what? Like, honestly, even with it like being set in the world of Gotham, I actually like it now. I realized by the end, like, I was invested in Arthur Fleck, not the Joker in these two movies.
Well, it's Arthur Fleck's story. It's not a Joker story. It's an Arthur Fleck.
But he's like in this universe, this kind of crucial piece in the whole Joker mythos.
Yeah, and not to mention, because he doesn't become the Joker, it makes it easier for these two films to be, you sit over there away from everything. You don't need to be connected to everything with a James Gunn. Like, you can. Well, I mean,
it was never gonna be. But if anything, like, I mean, this would have had to. I mean, the movies that this, like, if they were gonna connect it to other movies, the like Joker 1 at least, if it was like, say it was the way it was, but then another movie would have to have gone a bit differently. But like, I low key was like kind of, I didn't expect it to be, or I kind of knew it wasn't. But like going into the Batman, I was like kind of like, there were rumors for a while, I think before it came out, that it was like set in the 90s or something.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember those.
And then obviously it wasn't, because there was like smartphones and internet were like kind of a big part of the plot. But if it had been, and like other than the technology, that movie visually, because they go for like a bit of a comic bookier Gotham, even though it's grounded, does kind of, I guess it does have that like kind of timeless look to it, and it very much
not really a 2022 setting, is it?
Oh, sorry.
Are you talking about the Joker?
Oh no, I was saying in the Batman.
Yeah, it doesn't have that real. This is that the Dark Knight trilogy, a 2022 setting, like it. Besides the little things like the smartphones, bring it back to 2022.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It could be like a Gotham in the 90s or something. I think that could have been cool, because then, okay, and this would just be a whole different thing, and it would have had to be something different from the start. But I'm just saying, like, if any movie was going to actually tie into the Joker movies outside of it might have been interesting to like since we actually finally had a Joker that was like, you know, assuming if in this case Joaquin Phoenix was going to be the real Joker or something, then like it would have been cool if we actually got to see him face off against Batman, and they were like doing this new Batman universe, and both of them are set in this like kind of basically grounded like universe, right? And if it was in the 90s, it would sort of Bruce Wayne's age and the Batman would line up about with close enough, I think, with what age he was in like the late 70s, which is when the first Joker is, right? I think.
Yes.
So yeah, so I don't know, just that I feel like that possibly could have worked, because even though that's not what they were going for with these Joker movies or the Batman, I feel like Joaquin Phoenix could totally. I love what he did with Arthur Fleck, but like I also feel like he could have played like more like the classic Joker too. Like I feel like he actually wouldn't be a bad pick for that.
No, I don't think he did, and he did. He's done such a good performance. Like his performance from back to back from Joker 2 and Joker 1 is fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I could like picture him as that more maniacal Joker too.
Oh,
like,
he could.
Like he even has like the look. I think that like I guess that's maybe why they cast him partly. Because like he has a look that he could be like, I think, like that classic Joker. We're never gonna get that, and I think in some ways they did something more interesting and new with it. But yeah, I just want to say like the Batman was the only one where I'm like, oh, maybe that's in some ways a missed opportunity. But yeah, but
Could
also
be.
it's like both are good as they are, so I'm happy also.
Yeah. No, it could be. Now, how do you feel? You know, if Todd Phillips didn't say it, would you want to see a sequel to this? And if you did, how would you want it to play out?
Okay, so we're getting into kind of like I have ideas of how I'd want to like this Batman universe to play out, but I don't necessarily actually want to see it.
Oh well, no, you don't have to see it, but like if he said
because actually like
yeah,
even more
I'm
so
doing
than
a
the
third
first
one.
I feel like this one, since I really liked it, actually I feel like this is a nice duology, and I feel like part of the fun of the way this one ended is like speculating on how this kind of alternate Batman universe could play out. So I guess we'll get into this is I guess what I was talking about with theories and stuff, because at first the first time I saw it, the one thing, and this isn't by any means like really backed up by the movie, it kind of is, but like it works enough for my like headcanon, I guess, and makes me like the movie even a bit more, honestly. One thing that frustrated me was like, oh, okay, so they fixed that whole thing when he killed him, and it's like, oh, this guy's the Joker. But then I'm like, wait, but like, okay, the Joker you could do that with, because the Joker doesn't have one like across the board definitive identity. Sorry, voice crack there. Definitive like identity, right? That's kind of part of the deal with the Joker.
Yeah.
But Harley Quinn does have a definitive identity. She's Harleen Quinzel, and Lady Gaga was playing Harleen Quinzel, so you can't really debate that. So it's like, well, so Harley Quinn then is like older than the real Joker? That's kind of weird.
It would have to be her daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was getting
to.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so clearly it's not too much of a stretch then if you thought of it right away, and that's why I'm like, oh, maybe she actually was pregnant, because that's another thing you could debate. Was she pregnant? Was she just manipulating? I mean, she was manipulating him, but was she lying about that? I feel like she kind of was, but also I like to think maybe, like you said, wouldn't it be kind of cool if the Harley Quinn we know, because it's not like she got married to Arthur or anything, so she probably would, if she had a daughter, have the same last name as, so it would be Quinzel still. And I mean, sure, she could have the same first name too, like some parents do that, right?
Yeah, Harley Quinn Jr.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Do you notice does that like apply to like, I'm just like genuinely wondering. I don't think you ever hear that with women though. Like, do you ever hear like women called like Junior? Do you?
No.
Or am I just like imagining that?
No, but weirder things have happened in the universe. So...
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it doesn't matter. But she doesn't need to be called Junior. It's like, yeah, she could be another Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a stretch that and that even again sort of plays into the fact, I think Lady Gaga very much embodies Harley Quinn enough for my purposes, or like for what I feel like the character's about in this. she's a ground to take. But also, if you want to maybe say, oh, but she's not quite Harley Quinn. Well, yeah, maybe she's not. Maybe she's like her mother.
Well, then again, that goes back to saying with the Joker, like she is a Harley Quinn. She's not the Harley Quinn.
Yeah, but in this case, more directly tied because she would literally like she is named Harleen Quinzel. So like that's a pretty like kind of that's laying down the gauntlet. Like she has a definitive identity. Only the Joker is a unique character in that he doesn't really have one. So you can play around with that more. So I don't know. That's my general kind of headcanon, and that made me like the movie even more. And I'm like, okay, cool. So there could be like a Harley Quinn that's, I don't know. I was saying this with Dan. I guess that would probably be if that guy if assuming that guy is the real Joker who kills him. Again, that's debatable, even though. But let's say he is, because I think that's what the movie pretty much tells us. Then, or
it alludes to that he's the guy. Was there was there anything you really disliked about the movie?
That's a good question.
Like something, so like it doesn't have to be something you dislike, but something like
no.
Like,
I mean,
they could have done that better.
Oh yeah, like I mean, there were things like I said, like I just feel like there were things, even though I know Dan thought the movie was too long, but I'm like, I feel like maybe some more scenes, like maybe 10 minutes longer or something to like flesh out 10 or 15 minutes longer to like flesh out just make it a solid 2.5 hours to flesh out his relationship with that one other like kind of guy in prison that's like his friend, so that it hits that much harder. And you really like, because I really do feel like even if people are like on some level getting it, they're also like, it's also like kind of going by them that the like, oh, okay, so that's why. I feel like a lot of people are watching it, and to some degree the first time I was a little bit, it's weird. It's like I think I got it, but it wasn't until the second time that I really got it, if that makes sense.
It clicks.
Yeah. And it's like okay, yeah, like I think a lot of people are like just watching it and being like, suddenly he's like, oh, I don't want to be the Joker, and they're like, what? Where did that come from?
Oh, it did. Like my friend said the same thing. Like my friends that I went with, my friend who I do go with, he said the same thing. He's like, it seemed a bit weird, just like out of nowhere, just kind of went like, nah, I don't want to be the Joker anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, but like it's actually there, and you realize the plot of the movie. Maybe it's because we want him, and Dan was saying this a bit too. We want him. I think a lot of us want him to be the Joker, right?
Yeah, we want him to embrace it, become the clown prince of crime.
But this movie, in a way, is more. It's about how that's not a good thing, and how he's actually starting in some ways, I think, to get better. You know, he is like, whether he has the split personality disorder or not is, I don't know, but he definitely is ill.
Yeah.
And it's this movie's like him sort of on a bit of a path to recovery, right? And it's kind of tragic because he is starting to like, I think, realize that he doesn't like want to be the Joker, but then. And that's why I think, and even some people saying that Harleen Quinzel in this, or Lee, is like, even if they like Dan said, he liked Lady Gaga enough in it, like he thought she was fine, but he thought she was underwritten. I think I could see that if you're going into this like thinking Harley Quinn's gonna be another protagonist in the same sense that Arthur is, then that's not her role in the story. She's actually like, really like, aside from I guess the guards are also, but I'd say the primary like villain of this movie is Harley Quinn. Like she's the embodiment of him not recovering and him like going down the wrong path further.
She wanting
like,
him to become the Joker. Don't take your pills.
Like, yeah, she's like she is like extremely toxic to his recovery.
Yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, don't go out with toxic women. It looks. What happens.
Yeah, no, I'd probably go for it like he did, but like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, story wise, that's like, yeah, she is like the negative influence. She is like the embodiment of him like not recovering and getting through this. And even though he sort of ends up rejecting her to some degree in the end, or rejecting her in the sense of like he wants to be with her, but like he rejects obviously the whole like wanting to be the Joker. and then he realizes that's all she cared about, right?
Yeah, that's all she cared about, and then she's going to leave him. But
She was in love with the idea of the
wanted,
Joker, which
yeah, not Arthur.
honestly, that feels like, at least to the end, like a true like Harley Quinn. I think if like when, maybe not when she's in her like anti-hero phase, but when she's like the Joker's sidekick and she's over the moon for him, if he was just suddenly like, oh, actually I don't want to be the Joker, I think she'd kind of lose interest.
Oh, 100%. 110%.
Like that's what,
She's in
so
love with the Joker.
yeah, so I mean, like, in that way it's like it's tragic, I think, because like I think this movie actually like brings back, after in the first one we see him kind of descend down this dark path. But then in this one, it's like, oh, there's like a bit of hope, and he actually does have that one lawyer that's, I think, actually like doing pretty good for a while there. And then Harley talks him into firing her, and being like, no, we're gonna. I'm not sure exactly what her plan is, like that. Like, I don't know how she expects him to like legally win or get out of there if he embraces being the Joker. It's like they're trying to prove.
Because the
I think
verdict
she's
came
just
in.
basically trying to start the movement, and they'll like break him out or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I mean, it's tragic because yeah, it's like he's actually kind of starting to like get some clarity, I think, to some degree.
Yeah. And he's like,
And
oh, you
then,
know what? Maybe I
he,
don't want to be this. And it's all it stems from
yeah,
is he just wanted people to be nice to him.
well, and he finally felt like somebody got him, but she didn't really like get him. She got the Joker.
Yeah, she loved the concept of the Joker. That's what she
Yeah,
loved.
and then basically when he what's it called? And it sucks because he, even though he does like end up turning that whole thing down, and I guess you could say removing that, well, even though he wanted to be with her still, but like inadvertently like removing kind of that toxicity that is Harley Quinn, then but he kind of does it too late, and the damage is done.
It's too late.
Sentenced to death anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like and I think because he's not the real Joker, he's not like the Joker who we think of as like this embodiment of evil and chaos, then I think it makes it all the sadder. It's like, oh, okay, so he was just kind of a sad guy who,
yeah, he was just a sad guy.
He not a good person, but like he also wasn't like, yeah, he wasn't like the Joker. He wasn't like this evil psychopath really either. Not like he was very ill, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is like this tragic kind of arc of Arthur Fleck, and I think he's just actually like really like, I think like Joaquin Phoenix, between the performance and this arc, between this duology, I think even outside of whether it's a comic book movie or not, I think Arthur Fleck is actually like just a great character of cinema now.
Well, he's up there with he's up there with the rest of the conversations that we're going to continue to have about the best Jokers, best comic book movies, best character studies. Like, he's going to be in that same breath. It was, we didn't touch on it, but with the psych lady saying how his mother said he wasn't funny and he was trying to be a comedian, like, that was sad, and you felt for him.
Yeah.
In that sense. So, not saying he's a Joker of circumstance would probably not be the right way to say it, but you've started this movement and trend, and it's not something that he never wanted to make.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and since you bring that up with the circumstance, that's almost what makes it's like you're more sympathetic to him than Harley Quinn, because I think she's like much crazier than he is in this case. It's like, because he was sort of like put through like this hell. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying if you're rich there's not going to be problems too or whatever, like it's not that black and white, but like I think like narratively at least it's kind of implying like, oh, she's just like being like this because she can be, whereas Arthur's been like forced and pushed to this. She's just like, it's a thrill for her, but for him it's the culmination of a life of pain.
Yeah.
Not saying,
What?
look, again, who knows? She might have gone through trauma too, even if she's rich. I mean, Batman, obviously, but you know.
Bingo.
But I'm just saying I think that's yeah. So I don't know. To me, like the more I talk about this movie, I'm like I think it's kind of genius. It's not perfect, but I'm like I don't know. It's like just when I thought like I feel like every year there's a movie that like just like makes me even more like have like just another like hot take, and I'm like God, just when I think they can't get hotter, and I'm just
something
like,
else.
and then it's like, oh shit, like I think this is my favorite movie of the year. I don't think it's the best movie of the year, but it's definitely the one I think that's
It's until I see Gladiator. My top one will be Deadpool and Wolverine for this entire year. I know some people are
that's
gonna. I know
third for
some.
me now. I don't know. In some ways, I was like between that and Dune 2, but I think Dune 2 is just better.
Oh, no.
But also I don't really have I don't know, and Joker to me at least is sort of like a happy medium between the two because it sort of has the prestige of Dune and it has the characters I'm invested in more that like Deadpool and Wolverine has. But Dune I don't know, I haven't really gotten invested in any one character that much still as amazing as the Dune movies are.
Dune visually, storytelling, all great. I just found, especially that first like hour and a half or hour and a half.
If Dan's listening, he's gonna be upset.
I definitely walked out of that movie going, you could have wiped out the first half an hour of that movie at least.
No, I don't know. With the Dune movies, I think they're fantastic. I just don't really have any issues with them other than they just haven't like spoken to me on that deeper level. Whereas like this, even though I think objectively this Joker movie has more flaws than say Dune 2, I'm not gonna like deny that. But
that I'll agree. This does have more flaws than Dune 2.
Okay, but like I'm just saying, but also I don't know. It's to me they're on like similar footing because like this one just like I don't know. I know like I realize like wow, I really care about Arthur. Like I'm invested in him.
Oh, it makes you care about him, especially.
And like I don't really care about anyone in Dune the way I care about Arthur in these movies. Partly that's just preference. Yeah, I know, Dan. I know.
Dune 2 is my favorite.
I know.
2 and 2 is my favorite of the year. Then Challenges, then In the Outside 2. That's an interesting 3 type of movies to have as your top 3.
I mean, 2 of them are in my top 4. I haven't seen Challengers though.
No, I haven't seen Challenges, and I need to watch Inside Out too.
Oh, you haven't seen Inside Out 2? I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, I don't know. Although I did see that director who did Challengers, like his new movie. I went to TIFF and saw that his new movie, Queer and the Wild Robot. And all I will say is, I didn't like think either were bad, but I wasn't as high on either of them as most people are.
Oh, that's fair.
Or is like that's yeah. It's just between like especially the Wild Robot and Joker 2. And again, I like the Wild Robot. I thought it was cute, but it was sort of one of those ones where I'm just like, okay, wow, I'm definitely wired differently than most people because it's like, it was good, but I don't know. It was really cute and everything and well done. It was emotional, but also it was kind of like, I just found it a bit vanilla. And whereas people are like, it's amazing. And then Joker, the most like hated movie of the year, it feels like right now at least. Is like my favorite, and I'm like, wow, this really works for me. The more I think about it, I've listened to the soundtrack and the score and everything, and I'm like,
you know what?
It feels like a movie. The more I think about it, that's actually tailor made for me because I feel like I'm that weird, like intersection in between the two demographics. That's likes Batman and musicals.
Well, so if there was a Batman Broadway stage, we should go. You'd love it.
Yeah, but that's a bit. I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, this movie doesn't. Even though I've heard a lot of people like Dan, I think just one of his issues, he just thought it was boring. But like a movie like this, to me, especially the more I process it, this is like why I like it so much is because to me it's the opposite of boring. Even with its flaws, it's fascinating to me.
You can Yeah, it's
And
not.
it's not just
not-
like, I don't know, Deadpool and Wolverine was fun, but also it just felt like it's like, okay, yeah, this is what the general like people want. It's like, okay, now we cheer, Blade comes on. I don't know. This just I find just infinitely more interesting.
This is a better case study. So to
Not to mention, I'm a sucker for movies that just look this good. Like, I don't know. I think it's like just visually like pretty incredible looking.
Well, you saw it in IMAX, didn't you?
Yeah, but even on the like last night I saw it just in a regular screen, and yeah, I don't know.
No.
I'm like, there are some movies that really just like make me stop and go like, wow.
That's
Like,
that looks
you know,
really good.
Marvel movies don't really almost ever look like that. They look good, but they don't look like wow. Like there's something special. Maybe like Guardians a little bit, the ones that have a bit more of the director's touch. But
I'd say Guardians, but there's definitely difference. There's a plethora of scenes I can think of that just stunning to look at. Some really nice shots.
no, yeah, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, not
But
just
I
shots,
couldn't
like the whole like you know in
Yeah.
Joker, like the whole like coloring and everything. It
Yeah,
just all
not the whole
feels
movie.
like it feels like very like a lot of like care was put into that part of it. You know?
Yeah, not the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't like. I'm not saying like I don't love the spectacle and things, but I'm just saying like there's some movies like even if you don't like it as much or like, but in that way at least like they are kind of like I don't know. I probably sound really pretentious right now, but they are like really like a cut above. I think like this.
Yeah.
I could see this getting nominated for cinematography. The first one did,
Yeah, I could see that getting
but
nominated
they also
too.
might just snub it because sometimes they do that when a movie is just this hated. So there's that.
Yeah,
But like
that
it
could
wouldn't.
happen.
I don't think it would be like. I don't think people would really like. Even people who hate this movie would be like too against it if it were to be nominated for that.
No, I wouldn't be if they know it's for cinematography. I'd be like, yeah, that well deserved. Dan also said Joker 2 will be closer to my bottom 10. That would be my top 10.
I know, Dan. I know. Even though I explained to him why it's actually really good.
It's still a no from me.
And yeah.
What would
he was saying like, oh, the script has all these issues, and I'm like, no, it's all right there. Like maybe it could have been fleshed out further, but like all of it's there. It's not like it's there.
Black
I'm
and
just
blue,
saying
mate.
it's not
Black
this
and
like
blue.
terrible script. When you compare it to like almost all comic book movies, it's like it's not a bad one.
No, it's no. Look, no. It's
Maybe
not...
a little messy, but like, okay, how many comic book movies are a little messy and we don't get this upset about it?
Well, no, we don't. I actually just recently watched the 2004 Punisher movie, and I think I don't know because I watched that when I was younger. I rewatched that. I'm like, wow, this is a bit rough. I remember this being better, but this is a bit rough now, looking back. Dan, I don't know if this will get any nominations, but cinematography, score, and costumes and makeup and hairstyle would be worthy. Yes, especially costumes.
I think there's a good chance it gets some nominations at the Oscars because the first one, like, it's not going to get like what the first one did, but like just the fact the first one was nominated for Best Picture. So I think they'll probably like nominate it just for something, even if it doesn't win anything. I think like clearly something about this like Joker duology, I think like sits kind of well with the Oscars if it's the like one DC movie they ever nominated for Best Picture.
And,
did
it? Oh no, Dark Knight.
Yeah, no, not The Dark Knight. I know The Dark Knight is like the one that deserves to more than any comic book movie. It so clearly should have won Best Picture.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's Black Panther was the first comic book movie ever to be nominated, and then
that's right. And that would have won. That would have won if it didn't come out the same year as
You
Bohemian
think
Rhapsody.
Black Panther would have won? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because nothing else, no other comic movie had even been nominated. It was surprising it got nominated, in my opinion. That was like the big achievement that it got nominated.
Oh, I thought it deserved the nomination.
No, I'm not saying it didn't, but no, I don't think I never thought it was gonna win.
Yeah. I thought there was a potential it could have won.
I suppose, but like when like literally like that's the ground that was being broken there. That a comic book movie was even nominated. I mean,
for Best Picture.
The Dark Knight didn't get that even.
No, it should have. Well, Eric, what would be your final words to come into the closure of this show? What would be your final words on Joker 2?
I mean, I've said this a few times now, and I think this is like, there's been so many, but over the years, but somehow something at some point always like breaks the record again. This is like, I think the record now for me for like just the biggest gap between my opinion on a movie and the general consensus, not just of a comic book movie, probably of any movie I can think of, just because of how much hate it's gotten. Like just when I'm looking at the actual scores, like, because when I think about all the DC movies before, it's like, oh no, but the like this one's lower than some of the ones that are actually just terrible. But that's the thing. People think this one is that, and to me, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. I don't know. I'm like, and I saw with some friends last night that are like, okay, no, you're not crazy. You were right. This isn't a terrible movie.
It's not. And it's a lot better than what Madam Web. So much better than Madam Web.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, it's crazy. It's even like a conversation that we have to compare it to that. But
I know.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I don't know. Even though I knew it'd be divisive, like, my final words would be, I'm truly like not even trying to be contrarian or anything. I'm just genuinely baffled at the degree to which people don't like it. Like, I just don't understand it. I understand it's not for everyone, but just, again, the degree.
Yeah. I know. It's a lot more decisive than I thought it was going to be when coming out. For me, the film does wrap up the story that the Joker had started in the first one in 2019. It does wrap up. You know, it may back away from with Batman and the Wayne family nearly completely altogether. But it does set more into the Joker mythos than it does with the Batman mythos. It is I think it's going to be one of those films that will be quite decisive whether or not it should have been made. Was it worth it? And also it being a musical, I in compare like Madam Web, I hated. That was horrible. It was terrible. But this film, I didn't hate it, but at the same time, it's a film that I'll probably go back to the first one and watch. Going back, and now I have a new appreciation when I go watch the first one, knowing what's going to happen in the second one.
So you think this one, you agree in some ways, this one actually enhanced it?
It enriches the first story of the first one. It definitely does.
Okay, so I don't know. To me, that sounds like pretty high praise, but
yeah. Well, no, but in saying at the same time, it's not as epic as the first one. It's not to me, it didn't have as much meat as the first one did. But
I don't really think of either movie as like going for epic though.
No, but like I think what took me away, which is probably more a personal thing than being a critic, is that him going away from the Joker. But that's the mindset I was going. Is like this would be him becoming the Joker.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's like, and I think initially I felt that, but then I feel like it kind of compensates for that though by like.
Oh, it does. It does the flip.
Like, yeah, like it's. Yeah, no, I feel like it's sort of like it's not like they like just said, okay, he was the real Joker and he's dead now, and now this Batman universe doesn't have a Joker.
There's still going to be a Joker.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we talked about that, but yeah.
Nah. Also, Dan, the first one was shocking and impactful. I didn't feel that in this one. That could be how I feel about this. It just didn't seem to it didn't seem to have that same punch as the first one did. This probably something you did say. It's a great epilogue. It's a better epilogue.
Sort of like Quantum of Solace to Casino Royale.
Done. Joker 2 is the Quantum of Solace of sequels.
Yeah, people did not get. I mean, at the time, it seemed like people like don't like that movie, but like yeah, they did not get that mad about Quantum of Solace.
No,
not this mad. They didn't
No.
like it, but they did not get this upset.
No, I'm curious to see.
I don't
what the
know. I
Fox
don't
film
remember
will
when
be.
a movie's made this people upset. Honestly, like people this upset. It's
Oh, well, there'll be a list. I think people were very vocal about Batman. I was like, Madam Web. People were very vocal
no,
about
but
that.
that's different because that was like a joke. Nobody was like expecting or really wanting it to be good.
No. And I've seen people go, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, it is that bad. There is no silver lining in this whole thing with that movie. There is no grace. There's no,
Well, I think my only thing I said with that one was I think it's like watchable. Just like I don't think it's boring. It's kind of funny to watch.
as like if you're going to watch The Room.
Well, The Room's just a masterpiece, so.
You're damn right it is. It's got. I think I put 4.5 stars on the Letterboxd for that.
I mean, I don't know how you just give it any. I can't explain any rating for that other than 5, so it's a 5.
I know. Well, look, Eric, I want to say thank you so much for coming on.
I just want to bring up one more thing, just because it
yeah,
ties to Joker. But like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen Tommy Wiseau's like auditions to be the Joker when they were casting?
Yes,
I think it was for the Joker movie, right? And they ended up. It's like okay, but sorry, Tommy, they went with Joaquin.
Yeah, I know. I remember when they were popping on, and he wore the full suit. He did the green hair and everything.
Yeah, he was pretty much just dressed up like Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, he's a weird man.
Yeah, Dan met him.
Really?
Yeah, he came to his hometown for a screening of his new movie, Big Shark.
Oh yeah, I did see the poster for that. I haven't watched it. I had never seen The Room, and I just had a mate who he kept pushing it to me. He's like, oh, he's like, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. I'm like, okay, I'll find a platform and I'll watch this. I don't know why why are you telling me to watch it? And at the end of it, I was like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, I own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I met him. He's an odd man. He's an odd bloke altogether. That Tommy Wiseau. But look, Eric, as I say, thank you so much for coming on this episode. I really appreciate it. And this is not the last time you're actually coming on here. I'll be seeing you in about 4 to 5 weeks. Because we got the Penguin.
Yeah, no, I need to get on that. Well, all I'll say is, I saw episode 1, and it was pretty much flawless, I thought.
The first episode?
Yeah, I haven't got around to episode 2 yet. Just had to focus in on Joker this week.
No, that's all right. Well,
like if you one Batman villain continuity at a time.
Yeah. one mindset. One mindset. Cam, good stream. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. If you do enjoy this one, definitely come past for another time. But no, they're one Batman universe at a time. So now you can leave and go back into the Penguin. Which, if you do wait 24 hours, you'll get both 2 episodes to watch back to back.
Yeah, I might check them out tomorrow night, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to when you're back on. Also, Cam, let's hope the Penguin doesn't cut to black like Sopranos.
Oh, funny.
No!
I made that joke like last night. I still need to finish Sopranos. I'm like halfway through, but I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I actually just got into Lost. I'm 20 years late to that, and I'm like, oh, it is pretty addictive.
It's addictive, but that at the ending, it still makes you go, what the hell?
Yeah, I've heard. But I mean, I like the ending in Game of Thrones, so maybe I'll like it.
Oh, I should make that a clip and just see how many people will have the argument with you.
I don't know. Is it any more of a hot take than my take on Joker?
No, we'll find out the results for this episode when everyone listens back to it.
I'm just loaded with unpopular opinions.
And that's why I like you coming on the show, man. It's always a good time when you come on.
Yeah, and it was fun. I mean, even though most people hated it, it was fun to talk about a movie I really liked this time, at least.
Well, that's true. That's true. Not like, okay, I'm coming on the show. Let's talk about this trash movie. No,
I think we just barely talked about Madam Web, though. We talked about other things more than we did Madam Web.
I think we fully shit on it for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, but I feel like I just, whether intentionally or not, just kept like changing the topic to something else.
let's go.
Whereas this time I was committed to like dissecting this movie.
No, I'm glad you're right. And I'm bringing that same energy as we go watch The Penguin. Because The Penguin, I'm excited for the ending, at the same time disappointed, because as soon as that ending rocks up, I know it's still another 1.5 years away, or 2 years, until we get the Batman 2 before we go back into this universe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that Arkham series is on ice now, so
it's on ice. Apparently, the last I read was it's still being worked on. But I'm like, that doesn't. I could say I could write 2 lines on a script and be like, yeah, I worked on it. Doesn't mean it's gonna come out.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to. That's probably why I want to rewatch the Batman also too before I really get deeper into the Penguin. So that's probably why I've sort of put that on the back burner for now until because I wasn't gonna get into the Batman mode this week when I'm in Joker mode. It's like,
all right, now you're getting the Batman mode.
I do. Luckily, it's a couple weeks off still to really dive into all that.
Still about 4 to 5 weeks. Also, Dan says a good stream. All right, thank you very much, Dan, for coming past for as long as you have, and thank you to everybody that's come past for as long as they have. And thank you again, Eric. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Light, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.